Good evening, Raider fans, and welcome to the 51st Annual Citrus Cup between the Ventura College Pirates and your Moorpark Raiders. Tonight, the Raiders host Ventura College in the 51st Battle of the Citrus Cup. The Pirates come into tonight's gridiron battle with a 5-1, 1-0 Northern Conference record and ranked 4th in the 2019 JC Athletic Bureau poll of California College football coaches. The Pirates defeated Bakersfield last Saturday by a score of 29-21. They are coached by Steve Mushagan, who's in his 9th year tenure at the helm of the Ventura College football program. The Raiders are 1-5 and coached by 5th-year head coach Mike Stewart. The Raiders fell to the state's number 7 team in College of the Canyons on the road last Thursday by a score of 34-7. Tonight's official game sponsor is Simi Valley Auto Center. Welcome fans to Simi Valley Auto Center official game with Moorpark College Athletics. Searching for a new or used car? Then look no further. Simi Valley Auto Center has what you're looking for. We're a convenient stop at 1st Street, just off the Ronald Reagan Freeway, Highway 118. Come visit us, test drive a new or used car today, and speak to one of our experts. Or discuss auto financing options. Simi Valley Auto Center always has a wide selection of quality vehicles. Our wide selection of new and used cars and fuel-efficient hybrids ensures that we have the vehicle for everyone, no matter what it is you're looking for. Hey fans, stop by Raiders Corporate Row to visit with the 5 participating dealers and look for some of their top vehicles that are on display. For the best value the Valley has to offer, it's the Simi Valley Auto Center. Simi Valley Chevrolet, Simi Valley Toyota, the First Auto Group, which consists of First Honda Simi Valley, First Kia Simi Valley, and First Nissan of Simi Valley, Simi Valley Ford, and Simi Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Find the best deal on your next vehicle. Shop every brand, make, and model. That's the Simi Valley Auto Center, a proud corporate sponsor of Moorpark College Athletics. Fans, the California Community College Athletic Association's decorum policy is in effect for all games. Please be respectful and courteous to each other. The CCCAA strongly encourages all fans, players, and coaching staff to avoid using profane language, taunting, or making inappropriate gestures or nonverbal signs. In addition, any non-credentialed person that interrupts play will be immediately escorted out of the venue by security staff. Those violating the CCCAA decorum policy will be warned one time. Moorpark College Athletics would like to thank everyone in attendance for their support of community college athletics. Thank you. We remind everyone, Moorpark College is a smoke-free campus, and there is no smoking allowed at Griffin Stadium or the campus itself. Smoking includes cigarettes, cigars, tobacco chewing, e-cigarettes, or any vapor products. We appreciate your cooperation and understanding. Fans, make sure you purchase your official copy of the 2019 Raiders Illustrated magazine that's on sale for only $5. The publication features bios on coaches, player information, official roster, and feature story of Moorpark College, which is ranked best community college in California by bestcolleges.com and recognized in the Huffington Post in March 2015. Updated numerical rosters for both teams are available at the entrance to Griffin Stadium. The 2019 Raiders Illustrated magazine is prepared by the Moorpark College Athletic Department. Our corporate sponsors have made this publication possible. Please extend a community thank you by supporting them. Thank you. gentlemen, at this time I ask you to please rise, remove your caps, and the national anthem will be performed by Contemporary Vocal Ensemble, the official a cappella group of Moorpark College.
If you can put it closer to your mouth.
Cool, biggest game of the year right here. She funny, bro. The dude was like, if you could put it closer to your mouth, she was like, that's what she said. Oh, wow. Damn, about to this fucking birthday.
Let's give one more round of applause. Contemporary Vocal Ensemble, the official a cappella group of Moorpark College. Fans, at this time I ask you to direct your attention to midfield. Tonight's official coin toss is proudly sponsored by Simi Valley Auto Center for the best Valley has to offer. It's Simi Valley Auto Center at the 118 Ronald Reagan Freeway at 1st Street. Tonight we are honored to have Larry Hibler, president of Simi Valley Ford, and Matt McKinley, president of Simi Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They will participate in tonight's official coin toss. When we are ready for the toss, we will send the mic down to our on-field official, Robert Yoakum, who will lead us.
Solid running back with the best O-line in the fucking state. On the ball back. Wonder what their record is. They lost to... Oh shit. That shit sounds the key is with Desi. That Desi? Who's Nikita? Oh, she's in Chicago right now. That's your locker room? It's not bad when you go inside. Alright, what blood feet? It's all like.
Like he's just
I cut audio.
I need to go say something to Lily. That's the black one, huh? Cam!
There you are, bro.
Yeah!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Stewart pregame show presented by Simi Valley Auto Center, located on 1st Street in Simi Valley. My name is Nick Federico, your play-by-play commentator. Alongside me, Justin Borses, your color commentator for tonight's game. Now, we had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier, so we do apologize for our viewers at home. But everything is working, and we are excited to kick off just under a couple minutes the 52nd Citrus Cup here at Moorpark College, home of the Raiders, Griffith Stadium. Now, the Raiders do play host to the Ventura County Pirates, as they are county rivalries, hence the Citrus Cup. In the series overall, Ventura leads 30-21 all time, but any year could change that, as Moorpark looks to come away with their first victory in over a decade to the Ventura County Pirates. Now, Justin, as we transition over to the Pirates, who are a couple star players defensively, to be specific, that are really going to cause trouble for this Moorpark offense tonight?
Calvin Williams, Darius Johnson, and Travis Callaway all are defensive standouts for this Ventura Pirate team. They had a combined 27 tackles as a group last week against Bakersfield in their 29-21 victory. Look for them to affect the quarterback play in today's game against Moorpark.
That's a great point. Their defense has a lot of star players, along with number 7, Wesley Anusium, who leads the team in pass deflections. Now, as we transition over to the offensive side of the ball, for Ventura, speaking-wise, we have, a great quarterback in Ewan, and what can he really do for this offense to get them the victory tonight?
He's had over 100 passing yards last week. He also had a touchdown as well, so look for him to air it out and then open up the running game for the running backs who had over 100 yards in rushing as well. So they're a very balanced team. They got a 5-1 record, so they're a force to be reckoned with for sure.
And that is Alakai Ewan, just so everyone knows, for the Ventura County Pirates. Now, offensively, Moorpark's had a little bit of transition from quarterback, going from Isaiah Johnson the second half when they originally started out with Trey Johnson. So who do you look to see get the start tonight, and why?
I would look for Trey because he's had more accurate in the passing game, 25-41. That's a 61% clip. So look for him to start this game. I was a little perplexed, and we talked about it last week a little bit, Nick. The idea of going to Isaiah in the second half, we weren't sure if Trey was hurt. We still are not sure of that. We have no speculation on that. But he was definitely the more accurate thrower of the group and was definitely more able to get this offense going early in this game. So I would look for a one-quarterback system.
Right, and final thoughts on the game before kickoff. What are you really looking to see for Moorpark to come away with the victory, and what are you looking to see Ventura to do to come away with a victory tonight?
Moorpark is going to need to play a multifaceted game. They're going to have to disguise their coverages on blitzes and be able to go man for man with these receivers to even have a shot at winning this game.
And we do want to let our viewers know we will be joined by Emery Johnson, who actually started this broadcast 4 years ago. So he will also be in the booth with us as our other color commentator for tonight's game. So look forward to that. Once again, this game is sponsored by Simi Valley Auto Center, as we will have Grace Leo, the coordinator for Simi Valley Chevy, as our halftime guest at halftime. So don't go anywhere, and kickoff is just underway with just under 5 minutes to go. Once again, thank you for watching the Mike Stewart pregame show.
So with the coin toss, Ventura College won and deferred, so Moorpark will be receiving and defending the north end zone. Man, get hungry? There's a food truck right down the south end of the end zone next to the scoreboard. Go fill up on all your wonderful game day favorites.
Trophy right now. I'm gonna go over there and take that bitch out there. I swear I got it.
Brandon Archibald on a nice return to start this game.
Ventura was very lucky on that play because he had an opening way up the sideline. It could have gone for a touchdown on that kickoff return.
That was a nice wedge, as you talked about, Justin, set right there in the beginning, as that he might have been able to take it to the house. Brandon Archibald, definitely one of the speedier guys for this Moore Park offense. With that being said, Isaiah Johnson, we weren't sure who was going to get the start. Isaiah Johnson, number 13, who's been the starter this entire season, is going to go ahead and get the start for the first drive of the game.
Interested to see now how accurate in the passing attack Isaiah's been. Only 52.4% for the year in terms of the passing attack, 86 for 164, as opposed to Trey, who's 61%. We mentioned in the pregame, 21 to 45. So we'll see how accurate he is early in this game.
Now, one thing that Isaiah Johnson does have over Trey Johnson is he has experience, as he's had almost 4 times as many reps as Trey Johnson, pardon me. And with that being said, it's obvious that the amount of snaps he's taken has showed in his comfortability when it comes to his style of play.
Having a clock issue.
A little bit of a clock issue, yes, for our fans back at, they cannot see the scoreboard right now. There was a clock issue, and there's 14:52 on the game clock, but they are trying to fix that right now as we were just waiting for the whistle, and the game will begin. Watch out for this early matchup. Dylan Lee, the number 1 receiver from Moore Park College, going against number 7, Wesley Anusium. That's going to be a good matchup to look for all night. Motion Skinnier across. Archibald's going to take the hand up the middle. Once again, another great carry, or first carry of the night, but another great run for Brandon Archibald, I should say, for a gain of 7.
Moore Park may look to rely heavily on the run game early in this one to offset the passing attack. That's what Coach Stewart wants to do. Wants to take a shot deep, but open that up with solid running lanes early.
And the run game is something that Moore Park's definitely had problems with early on in this year. They're going to need to establish that if they want to come away with a victory tonight. Right off the hands of Skinnier, the intended receiver on that one. Those are the ones you have to make in such a crucial situation, in such a crucial game against Ventura College. That's a give-me play, as they call it, and Skinnier needs to get that down in the future. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 on this first drive here for the Moore Park College Raiders.
Lee, the number 1 threat at wide receiver. In the 6 games, he's got 382 receiving yards, 421 all-purpose, at 70 yards per game.
Pass is going to be incomplete to the intended receiver, Dylan Lee, just over the hands, and that's going to force a 3 and out. Correction, Moore Park does look to maintain the field as they're going to go for it on 4th down. Gutsy call early on in the game, but you got to respect Coach Stewart's aggressiveness on this game.
And I like the idea going against your rival.
Johnson shotgun once again, rolls out to his right, feels the pressure as that's batted away. Great play there by Jarrell Knight, number 5 for the Ventura County Pirates. That's going to force a 4 and out as the Pirates will take the field for the first time tonight.
Moore Park is only 6 for 17 on 4th down this year. That's a 35% clip. So they haven't necessarily gone for it very often, but when they do, they haven't been as accurate as they would have liked. And now Ventura will start plus territory.
Player to watch out for, number 4 starting quarterback for the Ventura County Pirates, Alakai Ewan. Leads the team in passing yards and is a top 3 rusher for the team as well. So considered, without a doubt, to be a dual threat for the Ventura County Pirates. Correction, that's number 4, Nevin Ewan, coming in at quarterback. Looks to be a flag on the play. It's going to be a false start going against the Ventura Pirates. Number 68 on that one. Going against Chade Ania.
Ventura College back to the 48-yard line. Brings up first and
Cheed Aina. Pardon me, Cheed Aina, number 68. Ewan's going to hit his receiver on the right side. He's going to lower his shoulder and get just enough for the first down. Nice read by Ewan to hit this check down and able to pick up a first down on that play.
Moorpark was playing deep coverage right there. It opened up the soft zone for a solid gain. They're now at the 36, but that was a solid move right there. Good recognition by the quarterback.
And that was number 3 on the reception, Jaden Vargas. He's going to hand it off to Vargas once again. He's going to break a tackle and cut back to his left side and pick up a nice chunk of yardage as he's near the first down marker once again.
And Vargas had 17 carries last week for 99 yards, almost at the 100-yard threshold. So for him to get a big workload today.
10-yard gain on the play. First and 10 for the Pirates from the 26-yard line.
Ewan hits Vargas once again, open field tackle, but he's going to be taken down after just a gain of 2 on the play. Coming away with that tackle, number 26 for the Moorpark Raiders on that one, Dante Gibson.
By number 26, Dante Gibbons. Pick up a 3 on the play, second and 7.
Now on the fringe of field goal range, look for Ventura to be aggressive, trying to get 6 on the board early.
Yes, with just 12 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Pirates are driving down the field. Once again, Vargas, shoelace tackle, as he's going to be tackled for a gain of 2.
Vargas on the carry. Trip drum on the play by number 55, Adrian Reynoso. Brings the ball to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Jaden Vargas getting a tremendous amount of carries, over 5 this far in the game, as all year he's only played 3 games and had a total of 33 rushing yards. So tonight, already almost half of that mark has been hit. Ewan feeling the pressure, just threw it away. No one there. Lucky not to come away with a sack or strip fumble on that play.
And that's what we talked about in the pregame. Moorpark's going to need to look to affect the quarterback down the shot.
That's going to bring up 4th down. Ivory Jackson on the pressure on that last play, as Ventura will go ahead to try for the first points of the game tonight.
To attempt the kick is number 30, Alberto Arroyo.
Alberto Arroyo, kicker for the attempts.
37-yard field goal.
It will be a 37-yard field goal attempt. And it is good as the Pirates take the early lead with 11:56 to go in the first quarter, 3-0.
Solid stand for the Raiders there, only giving up 3. Could have been a lot worse. Now their offense looks to respond. Defensively for the Raiders, they only have 4 sacks on the year, so they're going to need to pick up their defensive pressure to keep this score at a low amount.
And while we have a break in action, we want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Of course, none of this can be made possible without you, so we're going to go ahead and start off with U.S. Army. Go on business trips with a company like no other, U.S. Army. Big brand tires and service, big on fast, big on friendly. Wells Fargo Bank. Wells Fargo is recommitting to helping all of our customers succeed financially. Wells Fargo, established in 1852, reestablished in 2018.
Jackson Mexican to kick off.
The Pirates will kick off after coming away with that short drive that led to 3 points early on in the first quarter. Successful drive, but ultimately not coming away with the touchdown they'd hopefully like. Back to return again, Archibald and Lee for the Moorpark Raiders. Another booming kick as that's going to fall into the back of the end zone, as that's just going to go as a touchback. Magnificent kick on that one.
Important to note that once again, we have not seen Edion Bada in this game yet. A couple of weeks ago, he was injured. We don't know the severity of the injury in any way, but we haven't seen him since, and that means that Archibald and Malachi Meeks, who has also gotten a big workload, will carry that in terms of the running game over the next week and maybe the rest of the season. We don't know as to what that might mean.
And Edion Bada was warming up for the game today, as he is suited up with his helmet off on the sidelines. Looked like he's ready to go whenever they call his name. Johnson's going to hit Archibald on the swing route. Cut to the side. Archibald's going to run upfield, take it for, looks to be enough for a first down. Brandon Archibald with those quick wheels. Nice check down, as that's going to be enough for a first, for just shy of a first down.
Moorpark will need to establish an offensive rhythm in order to get Ventura on their heels. A lot of defensive standouts. They're going to want to get quick passes, given that linebacking core that we mentioned earlier.
Archibald up the middle, going to cut out to his left side, break a tackle, and pick up enough for a first down.
And Nick, something we talked about has been the play of this offensive line this season. In many ways, it has been the downfall for the Raiders in terms of their record. They're going to need to step up their blocking game, give the opponents some lanes today. Also, the snaps have been an issue earlier in the season. Daftari has looked to clean that up. He's done a much better job in the last couple of weeks.
Moorpark comes out for another, as they were able to pick up a first down with a bunch set to the shallow side of the field here, led by Lee at the front of it. Skinner's going to motion around the backside, hand the ball off to Archibald, who breaks a tackle, and then is tackled for a loss. Nice read, as the Pirates are able to come away with that.
So now behind the chains creates some dilemmas for this offense. When they've gotten behind the chains, historically, they have not gotten many first downs. So
it is going to bring up a second down and 12. Going to roll out to the right side, hit Fuller. He's going to lower his shoulder. Wesley Anusium on the tackle. One of the star athletes for the secondary of the Ventura County Pirates. Look for him to have a game tonight.
in terms of third down conversions, the Raiders are 27 for 79. That's a 34% clip. 28th overall.
So third down and 8 here. Skinner with the motion behind Johnson. Looks to his left side. He's going to hit Skinner on the swing route. Open field tackle, but he's going to be brought down by a swarm of Pirates on that tackle, because that's going to lead to a fourth down.
What made that play was the ability to have some good open field recognition by the Ventura secondary, able to stay home, keep contained, and stay on their assignments.
That was Don Brown on that tackle on that one, number 11 for the Ventura Pirates. Moorpark looks to punt here as they have another 3 and out. Hagues Mokshin on the punt. Just gets it off, as it's going to be short and then fielded. Tackled almost immediately, led by Blake Batarsi, number 83 for the Moorpark Raiders. On the return there, that was Jalen Cooper, number 10. So the Ventura County Pirates are going to start their second drive of the game with 8 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It's going to be a handoff. There's going to be a fumble on the play, but Ewan's lucky enough to jump right back on top of it, as that's going to be a loss of 4.
Field position is going to play a massive role in this game. Moorpark is going to want to start in plus territory as much as they can, and if they can pin Ventura deep, they won't be able to establish an offensive rhythm. They want to keep this, in many ways, as low scoring of a game as they can.
Yeah, low scoring game is exactly what they want in this situation. As once again, Vargas going to take it up the right side, but he's swarmed by 3 Raiders. His helmets go flying on that one. Moorpark defense reading that run the entire way.
Now that the helmet comes off, the player will have to leave for the next play.
as concussion protocol here at the junior college level, and actually all levels above this as well. Anytime a player loses the helmet, they must leave the game for a 1-play minimum. So without their number 1 running back for tonight, let's see what the Pirates can do on this 3rd and 16. Ewan gets the snap, looking over to his left side, feels the pressure, cuts back to his right side, throws off his back foot, able to hit a receiver, and gets the first down and more as he's still on his feet. What a play by the Ventura Pirates. On the reception, number 14 coming away with that, Juan Gaten. What a phenomenal catch and go.
And the ability to scramble kept that play alive. Ventura, their only stumble came against Saddleback, and they were ranked number 1 at the time. Saddleback was ranked number 4. Ventura did lose, but they've since won 3 in a row.
First down from the 47-yard line. Once again, handoff up the middle to Fargas, who takes it for a gain of 7. As far as the running game's going, it's been all Vargas thus far in the game. Surprisingly low, he came into this game as the number 4 leading rusher with only 152 yards on the year behind Gates and Wick. Once again, he's going to take it up the middle as well, as he has enough for a first down.
And if you're Ventura, you want to continue to manage the yardage situation. You don't want to get behind the chains, as you saw in that 3rd and 16. You want to keep it 2nd and 4, 3rd and 3 type situations. There is a player down.
That is number 44 for the Moore Park Raiders, and it looks to be an excruciating amount of pain. Daniel Henderson down on the play. Crucial player for this Moore Park defense. One of the leading tacklers and leading linebackers. Hate to see a player like that go down. While we have a break in action, though, we do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Of course, none of this could be possible without you, so thank you for all that you guys do in making the broadcast possible. Starting with UCLA Health, is a proud sponsor of Moore Park College with neighborhood offices in Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, and Westlake Village. The very best care is now closer to you. UCLA Health, it begins with you. Pegasus Transit, we are the answer to your transportation needs.
And in terms of Henderson, that's a massive loss. He's the 3rd best defensive player on this team with 4.7 tackles per game and 3 tackles for loss. So
it was good to see that he was able to get off the field on that one. Ewan once again throwing just over the hands of number 11, the intended receivers. It was in his hands, but unfortunately wasn't able to maintain possession. Mark Farrell on that one. Mark Farrell, one of the larger receivers actually for the Ventura Pirates, comes here at 6'4", 200 pounds. So look for him to be a deep threat as this game progresses. It's going to be a 2nd down and 10 with 6 minutes and 22 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Ewan once again is going to hand the ball off up the middle, but he is swarmed and taken down with the shot by Ivory Jackson. The D1 bounce back, making a play. Justin, why don't we elaborate a little bit on Ivory Jackson? Someone that was such a crucial part of last year, rather quiet this year.
So Ivory came down from Texas Tech, and it is rare that you see at the junior college level players from the Division I side come back and play at this level. It could be for a myriad of reasons, including playing time, but he was a defensive standout.
Ewan's going to go ahead and hit his check down on the left side. Open field tackle, but he's going to be swarmed down once again, making the tackle. Moore Park defense on that one, 26, Dante Gibbons, and the receiver on that, number 14 for the Pirates, coming away with the reception, Juan Gaten.
He was a defensive standout for the Raiders, but with Drew Mathis now gone, many considered him to be the new leader of the team.
They're going to go for it on 4th down, the Ventura Pirates. Gets the snap. Ewan looks to be running outside. He's going to go ahead and hit Gates, and once again, one man to beat. Can he get there? Looks like Moore Park's got them all wrapped up. That's going to be a turnover on downs. Great stop by the Moore Park defense, coming away on a crucial stop in this game.
The defense is definitely coming to play at the moment. The offense needs to pay this off with a score for the Raiders. Yet to see a touchdown in this game. Johnson has 7 touchdowns on there with 3 picks.
Johnson definitely does have that it factor, but yeah, with 3 interceptions, he is a gunslinger.
Sorry,
But
2
rather,
picks, nothing.
2 picks, but going into week 6, that's not horrible considering that's one every other game. He's going to hand it, keep it himself actually, as he takes it up the middle, cuts out to the left side. Johnson is going to take it for a massive gain there as he's able to take it all the way from the 33-yard line down to the opponent's 45. Isaiah Johnson, one of the best that we have seen here at Moore Park in some time at the read option.
And in terms of offensive identity, that's something that Moore Park had struggled with coming into this game. We weren't sure if they were more of a passing offense or a run-heavy offense.
And that's going to be coming back as that is the first call against the Moore Park Raiders as far as flags go tonight, a holding call against number 11, which is Keonta Skinner.
The previous 5 weeks, Moore Park averaged over 100 yards in penalties. Last week they were a lot better, only 10 penalties for 85 yards. So that's something that they did clean up in terms of their play against COC.
10 penalties still a lot, but at least like you had talked about, under 100 yards for the first week in 3 weeks. So that's going to bring up a first down and 5. Lee motions across the field. Johnson gets the ball. He's going to go ahead and throw it off to his right side. Lee wide open as he cuts back, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle. One man to beat. Lee to the 20, down to the 15, inside the 12-yard line. Dylan Lee, what a reception and a run.
And Moore Park's going to need those big plays to pay off. They're going to win this game today. Lee, the number 1 threat on this offense, was able to get free on a screen and make some guys miss.
What a huge play right there by Dylan Lee, able to break 2 defenders' grips and take that for a massive gain. Once again, Johnson in the pocket, looking to throw. One man over the middle. Does he have it? Touchdown, Raiders! What an incredible catch and throw as he came down with that.
And great throw by Johnson as he was able to put it in a place where only his receiver can catch it.
There looks to be a little bit of jarring going on as they're trying to see who had the ball, but clearly showing that Moore Park came away with the touchdown. What a phenomenal pinpoint accuracy throw by Isaiah Johnson to his receiver on that one. Number 84 on the reception for the Moore Park Raiders, Alex Sardi. And with the height differential on that one, only 5'7", able to come up the top over his receiver in the back of the end zone. That is one of the best throws we've seen Isaiah Johnson make all year.
And that's a pinpoint throw with high accuracy.
With that being said, we are having our other broadcaster, color commentator, Emery Johnson, joining the game for us tonight, as he is going to jump on the mic in just a second here.
I'm here.
He is here. Little quick fun fact, Emery Johnson actually started this broadcast 4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years
4 years ago, so it's going full circle as the GOAT is back in the booth.
I wouldn't say the greatest of all time.
Or the legend,
original,
the
original.
forefather.
That's right.
The forefather.
I do have a comment to make. We had a great running back come out of Moore Park College a couple of years ago. His name was Isaiah Johnson. And when I looked at the stat sheets this year of Moore Park College football, I saw another person listed as Isaiah Johnson. I go, no, there's no way he came back. He was over at Eastern Illinois tearing it up in that division.
Right.
And wow, what another great Isaiah Johnson we have for Moore Park College football here.
Absolutely.
A lot of these junior college players like to try their skills at the D1 level. Once they are done here, we said Drew Mathis, who is no longer with the Moore Park team, he is now a starter at Oregon. So it is possible for these players to all have a future going forward.
Yeah, well, that's the best part about the junior college level. I myself, as a former Raider, played baseball. Especially, you were talking about the kids jarring in the end zone over there.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. Moore Park versus Ventura is one of the biggest rivalries you will ever see in junior college football. These teams, I promise you, are out to hurt each other. There is no good intent on any of this because that's just how it goes.
Higgs Mokshin with a nice pooch kick, just going to be fair caught there at about the 33-yard line by number 9 of the Ventura Pirates on that one. Just a shallow kick, rather. Deshaun Staples. But yeah,
Special teams, something that Coach Stewart wanted to emphasize this year, has been very good for the Raiders in terms of their field position game.
As Emery was talking about, yeah, I mean, the rivalry here is great. In fact, our camera, I think, can cover it on the opposing side. I've never seen this many fans come for an away game to have this much support. So it's great to see both sides for the community here tonight supporting the team.
And we're just down the highway. I mean, this is
Right.
you take LA Avenue to the 118.
That's right.
And you drive all the way down, and I can guarantee you there's an entire stadium during home games with Moore Parks here completely filled with angry Pirates
Exactly.
fans.
Ewan's going to go ahead and just overthrows receiver. Lucky that one was intercepted down there by the 40-yard line as number 27 for the Moore Park Raiders. Nearly coming away with that one, Julio Diaz. 3:55 remaining here in the first quarter as Ventura starts their third drive of the night.
Outside of Moore Park College athletics, I've started working in the junior college scene at a couple other broadcast companies, and one of the contracts that we have this year is College of the Canyons, and I was blessed with the opportunity to watch my alma mater play against College of the Canyons. Let me tell you, that secondary from Moore Park College is second to none. They are really good, and I'm excited to watch this game because I know their defense is really out there to play hard, and it means a lot.
Yep, it is. And I do want to let the viewers know, number 44, Daniel Henderson, star receiver, who had gone out, linebacker, who had gone out earlier in the game, is back in the game. So it's great to see that Moore Park has all of their solid pieces back in the game, as they're going to need everybody to defeat this 5-1 Ventura Pirate team.
And that's very largely thanks to our athletic training staff here at Moore Park College. Charisse, man, I love her to death. She kept me healthy for all those years playing baseball. Oh boy, here we go.
That's a hit right there. Wrap form tackle. Those are the kind of tackles that make the highlight film right there. Lowering the shoulder, wrapping and driving right there.
Hey, and it doesn't look flashy, but that's the play that stops this drive dead in its tracks. You're fourth down, and now Ventura's going, shoot, we got to punt. Because if you don't try to form tackle that guy, he's going to get away and get a couple more yards, possibly the first down.
And in the words of my father, that's going to leave a mark.
Oh, yes, sir.
I think that everyone says that one. That is going to bring up, though, a 4th and 7 roughly, as Dylan Lee looks to be the returner on this. Dylan Lee now having that phenomenal reception that led to that touchdown by Alex Sardi, and the #1 leading receiver here for Moore Park College. So number 5, Dylan Lee on the return, just as deadly as a returner as he is in the passing game. And that ball is going to fall down to about the 25-yard line where it is fair caught.
Smart move by Lee. I wouldn't have returned that. Almost caught behind him. He would have been reversing direction. Not something you want to take it upfield in that sense.
And special teams, let me tell you, a very, very, very good part of Ventura College football. A lot of the viewers online, I'm sure, understand the pedigree that Ventura College football plays at. They've been one of the best teams in the state for the last almost decade. In fact, the last time they weren't good at football was when Moore Park College football was winning the WSC Northern Division almost every other year. And that was partially due to the fact that it seemed like 2-3 years they would win something. And, it's been a long time, but Moore Park, man, they are out there to kill tonight.
I mean, early on, too, Moore Park 1-5, Ventura 5-1, but yet Moore Park up 7-3 with the ball to start their 4th drive of the game, showing everybody that they can play with the big dogs.
Oh,
Johnson passes deflected, nearly intercepted by number 91 of the Ventura Pirates. Read that the entire way, got his hands up, and came away with the pass deflection on that one.
Darius Johnson. Darius Johnson. He's a new addition from Buena High School, and let me tell you, he was a big piece over at Buena High School last year, and they are happy. And Ventura's defensive line has always been about getting guys who are bigger than offensive linemen. Historically, that's what they've been able to do year after year, and that's why you're looking at a team that was in the state championship last year.
Right. I mean, and they lost by a mere 4 points, 44-41, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. And it was a great game called by some of our better friends up in the north. That was Bay Area Sports Network were the ones on the coverage for that broadcast.
That pass is going to go incomplete. It was off the hands of number 10 for the Ventura Pirates there. Lucky that Ventura didn't come away with that interception on that one. Cooper Jalen.
And Isaiah threw into double coverage, something you never want to do. That is a no-no in football. Problem is with this offensive line, and we've spoken about it at length, not allowing the quarterback time to go through his progressions. The pocket collapses very easily with this team, so Johnson may have to scramble a lot in this game.
I mean, as you had talked about, Justin, the offensive line being one of the weak spots here for the Moore Park College Raiders, something that they look to fix as we get into those last couple games of the season. Johnson's going to roll out to his right side. He's going to throw off his back foot, and that's just going to go out of bounds. But there will be a flag on the play. Only the 3rd flag of the night, so a rather clean first half of football, you could say.
Still got
Yeah,
another quarter to go.
I
Don't
know,
get
right?
too
I should say
excited.
first quarter, correct?
I think they're going to call it either holding on Ventura, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, no, it's an ineligible receiver. Let me eat my words. There was a block being held down the near sideline. The Moore Park player, I don't have his name on the roster, but I do have the Ventura player as number 10. So Jalen Cooper, or excuse me, Cooper Jalen.
I know, right? You almost think that it's the other way around
No,
with the name.
Cooper Jalen back deep to receive. Return.
And speaking of which, now he's out for special teams to return the football.
Moxion's going to go ahead. It's rather
Short.
relative punt as it's going to bounce around the 50 and be returned by Jalen, who makes a spin move, but then swamped by a multitude of Raiders on that one.
Once again, not sure why you would return it. Even if it bounces, it's not going to go anything, to me, less than about the 30-yard line. Solid field position. You risk injury, and you're getting hit by a wall of Raiders. So
He picked it up, what, at the 37?
Yeah.
He only got about 5 yards, but, you know, hey, if it
5
means
yards
that much to
difference,
you.
right? 5 yards difference could be a big difference.
It
down
could
the
also be an
stretch.
injury, though, and in
Yeah.
some ways you look at the positive and the negative of trying to return a football like that. He really didn't have much time, but he is one of those bigger playmakers for Ventura College.
It's going to be a 1st and 10 ball on the 48-yard line. It's going to be thrown to the right side. Shoulder tackle, but he's going to take it for 8 yards. Should be known for our viewers at home. Number 6 for the Ventura County Pirates getting his first snap of the game. That is Dino
Maldonado, yeah.
Dino Maldonado.
He's one of the other quarterbacks on the roster. Also threw for over 100 yards last week. Something Ventura will not want to do is get to 3rd down in this game. 3rd down last week for them, they were 4-14 for that's a 29% clip. When you contrast that with the beginning of with the rest of the season, they are 43%. But last week they did struggle.
It's going to be a 2nd and 1, 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Going to hand the ball off once again to Fargas, who's going to have enough for the first down and more. On the tackle, leading the Raiders there, number 44, Daniel Henderson.
And if you're Coach Stewart and the rest of this staff or the Raiders, you take this as a win. It's a low-scoring quarter. You're up 7-3. You don't want to give up a lot of points to this high-powered offense.
Going to drop back, has plenty of time in the pocket. He's going to go ahead and throw it deep. And he just off the hands of number 9, who just seemed to have it as it slipped down the backside of his palms. That was number 9 on the intended reception.
Yeah, but hey, that was in the hands of Damon Johnson. I don't know if he had the angle there. He was diving backwards. He actually had his hands around the football, and it got knocked away. It was a good jump by the wide receiver, but we got a flag out on the field.
So great coverage there for the Moore Park defense, as you had alluded to earlier on,
Oh,
Johnson.
absolutely.
That's going to be a holding call against number 71 for the Pirates on that. Holding calls, absolutely one of those, boneheaded, careless plays that can really hurt your team as these games progress.
Peterson was on the hold there.
Thank you. So that's going to bring up a 1st and very long. Once again, going to the right side on the pass, spin move, still on his feet, cut back before he takes a lick. But what a run and that vision there by number 13 for the Pirates. Able to read the entire defense with a nice spin move and a cutback that picked up a nice amount of yards. That's Terrell Vaughn, the leading wide receiver for the Pirates, coming into this game with over 500 yards on the year and 48 receptions. He is their number 1 receiver on the year. Handoff up the middle to Fargas once again, who's going to have more than enough for the first down as they keep running this rock to Vargas.
And in terms of something that Moore Park also needs to work on is something we've talked about a lot. Missed tackles is a big thing for this defense. Drives a coach crazy. Wrapping up is a necessary thing in football, especially for this team.
Maldonado once again, the shotgun. Vargas off to his right, fakes the handoff, looking to his left. It's going to go deep downfield, has one man to beat. Does he have it? Way out of bounds. And that's going to hurt us. He's landing on the track. Hate to see that happen. He's going to be a little bit slow to get up as he's grabbing his shoulder, it looks like, right there. That track, for all of our viewers that don't already know this, is a lot different than falling on turf, and it's about 3 times as hard when you land on it.
And that might have hurt even landing on grass, to be honest. That was like he landed almost like a pancake.
he got
belly
some air.
flop onto the ground.
You got some air on that one.
Ooh.
And Daniel Moraga was way open up the middle of the field running a seam route, and Dino just missed him.
Yeah, it looks
Would've
like
been a
looks like
touchdown.
Maldonado just missed the read, and he
Yes.
picked the guy on the right. He went, I want the one-on-one coverage, but
Which in most cases is the good call,
Yeah.
but
That's going to wrap up the first quarter there. We do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Of course, none of this is possible without any of you. So thank you for sponsoring Moore Park College Athletics and the broadcast. Starting with In-N-Out Burger, freshness you can taste. Simi Valley Auto Center, proud sponsor of Moore Park College Athletics. DCH Lexus of Oxnard, proudly supporting education in Moore Park College football. Lexus, experience amazing. PennyMac, let us tackle all your mortgage needs. PennyMac, the lender you can call home. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Southern California Life, powered for 125 years. IBEW Local Number 47 is a proud sponsor of Moore Park College Raiders. And DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. With that, we're going to start the second quarter here as the Ventura Pirates look to continue this drive. Ball on the 31-yard line going in.
other side of the field now. They flipped the field, so the start of this quarter.
Instructors here in the audience tonight, Patty Coleman, Ranford, and Cynthia Hopkins. Welcome to Raider football.
Once again, Maldonado in the shotgun. A little bit of a wide throw as that's just overthrown out of the grasp of his intended receiver, number 11 for the Ventura Pirates, that being Mark Farrell. Mark Farrell, we talked about, one of the tallest wide receivers for the Pirates, listed here at 6'4". So far, this game has really been all Moore Park because they've had a very successful game.
I think this goes back to the conversation we had earlier, Nick, which I'll talk about after this next play.
Maldonado's going to fake this handoff, going to look to his left. Looks to keep it himself as he's going to throw off his back foot way in the back of the end zone. He has someone wide open as that's going to be a touchdown. Number 13 for the Pirates, their go-to guy, Terrell Vaughn, we talked about, who leads the team in receptions and yards on the season, wide open. You can't get much better than that for the Ventura Pirates.
And I wasn't sure what Maldonado was going to do because he had a bit of a running lane, and at the last second he saw Terrell downfield and wide open strike for a touchdown.
That was a
Smart
pretty good
move.
throw.
Yeah.
Pretty good catch and throw there because, I mean, I don't know about me, and I was screaming in my head going, let's take the run, go for it. And ultimately, well, I mean, I'm not hoping that he would run with the football, but well, there it is.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
With that, they're going to go up. The Pirates will go up 10-7 with 14:48 remaining in the second quarter. But as you guys talked about, you also have to give them credit. Passes like that, though they seem like they're easy, when a receiver's that open, sometimes it makes it that much easier for a defender to get to that position because he's just sitting there. So for the fact that he was able to put a little bit of oomph on that ball, and get there in time before any defender could get there, that was a phenomenal throw.
Oh, and I was just about to say that we talked about the 2 QB system, and I didn't know if that was going to fluster Ventura because now they're using a 2 QB set.
I think in this situation, you stick with Maldonado, though. I mean, he's got you your touchdown, and he doesn't look to be slowing up at all.
He's a little bit more accurate on the passing attack, too, with their last quarterback. I didn't catch the name.
He's 2 of 3 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Last quarterback, Ewan.
Yeah,
Ewan,
but
Nevin Ewan.
They were throwing left to right. They were going west to east, as they say, not north to south.
Right.
And that is that's something that they were probably looking at. Let's see if we can get the football downfield, trying to test these Moore Park defensive backs.
So a dogfight early on in this game.
And that's how we expected it to be, by the way.
Definitely. Another booming kick. It's going to land at about the 1-yard line. Archibald forced to return this one as he's going to cut out to his left side. Got a lane. He's down at the 30-yard line. He's going to cut it back down to the 40. Breaks a tackle, and he's going to get pushed out at about the 49-yard line. What a return by Brandon Archibald, who has had phenomenal runs every time he's had the ball in his hands.
Great return, but check out the blocking out front. Oh, my goodness.
Not only the blocking, but how about the smart move to cut up field? Because at one point, Archibald looked to cut out of bounds, and he saw those blockers and decided, might as well get physical and get some extra 15 yards.
Yeah, he's thinking cut far side and go along that far side hash, and he just sees the opening along the inside of the field and goes, yes, sir, I'll take that for about 50 yards. Why not?
Tyree Morrison, one of the unsung running backs for this Raider offense, is on the field tonight alongside Johnson once again. Going to hand it off to Morrison, who's going to cut upfield, break a tackle, and get tackled for a gain of 5. Nice run on the first carry for his for the first carry of Morrison tonight. Correct.
And in terms of Isaiah Johnson in the first quarter, he's 4 for 10, 65 yards and a touchdown along of 47 yards. So we spoke about the accuracy. 40% has been enough to start in this game. It's only a 10-7 clip here in the second quarter.
When it comes to the Pirates, though, for Moore Park, you're going to have to continue to score if you want to be victorious in this game. Once again to Morrison. This time he's stuffed at the line. Lucky if they're going to give him a gain of nothing.
Morrison on the carry again.
That's going to bring up a third down
Gain on the play brings up 3rd
and 5.
and 6.
It's a big down for Johnson here. He's going to want to pass the ball.
Dasani
And
Freeman
that's
on
the
the
thing
side.
about rivalry games. No matter the record, no matter the way the season has gone, people get up to play in these games, and you can never have a trap moment because they are ready to go regardless of how the rest of the season has went.
And the similarity between these two teams, both playing Saddleback and both losing, so showing similar attributes there. As he's going to hit his receiver on that, it looks to be just a
Should
yard
be.
shy.
No, it should be a first down.
If they give him
had it.
forward progress,
That's
it
right.
would be.
Skinnier on the reception, just enough for the first down, as that's going to keep the chains moving. Huge third down conversion for the Raiders.
Now, there's a lot of teams who have played against Saddleback this year and
They
lost.
are
I just want to
legit.
throw that one out there.
They're
Saddleback
2 in the
is
nation, I
legit.
think, right?
Yeah,
Because-
I don't know who would be better than they are. It might be a NorCal team of
well,
the sorts.
and
but
to show them that they're legit, they beat Ventura by 24.
yeah, and then they come in and beat College of the Canyons
Correct.
in another game, first game of the season, actually.
Johnson feeling the pressure, has to throw out to his right. Bounced off the shoulder pads of his intended receiver, Tyree Morrison, number 22 on that.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of quick pressure to the quarterback right now. The offense needs to, the offensive line needs to see if they can organize some blocking schemes here, possibly get their running back in on some schemes to block as well.
Some extra help for quarterback.
Yeah, and not that you would want to throw an extra running back into the mix, especially if you're trying to throw the football more often, that limits the amount of receivers
Right.
you have out there. But if you can get 2 guys extra with extra help to block, or if you have a tight end, go ahead and throw that man on the line, because it's the pressure is starting to get to him. You got to make them respect the throwing power before you can start running the football again there.
Johnson once again feeling pressure, looks to cut it up and take it himself, breaks a shoulder tackle as he's going to somehow stay in bounds, but a hit flying right there. Not a late hit, pardon me, but rather a big hit
hard hit.
by Dylan Lee, but there is flags flying on that one.
Could
Yeah,
be
they
a
could probably say a
helmet-to-helmet.
blindside helmet-to-helmet hit.
That would be, what would that be, unnecessary roughness?
15-yard penalty, personal foul.
Yeah.
Well, unnecessary roughness, yeah. Of the sorts. It's in,
yeah,
it's
of
in there.
that kind of variety.
It's a 15-yard penalty
Right.
nonetheless. We'll see what they
Well,
say.
in terms of Ventura, they have not necessarily played lights out, especially in the last 3 weeks. A 45-38 win against Palomar, a 48-47 win against Fullerton, and a 29-21 win against Bakersfield. So despite the 5-1 record, some very close games within those victories, which could lead to a misleading representation of the team.
There we go, personal foul.
Blindside block.
Yeah.
They're going to call it against number 3, who's Jalen Limpkin on that one.
You don't see those kind of plays very often. A
No.
blindside block.
Well, they come far and few in between, and any
Yeah.
player that sees them takes advantage.
And, yeah, it's one of those situations where you're trying to make a statement on a guy.
Do you think it could be because of the hype and people are a little too pumped up?
Absolutely. I mean, for those of you who don't know online about this rivalry, this has gone back to the 1970s.
52nd annual Citrus Cup. I mean, we're talking over a half century of
Ventura
these two going at
leads
it.
30-21 all time since 1968. So
Yep.
that's how far this goes back.
It's going to be a 2nd and 22 to be exact. Fakes the handoff to Morrison. Is Johnson going to keep it himself? Stiff arm a little bit before he gets shoved out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
Whoa.
And all the sideline wants a flag. There's another flag for a separate incident downfield.
Yeah, Travis Calloway got a little bit into it there, and he gets a handshake from his friend. I don't know if you're going to enjoy the 15-yard penalty and a
The
first down
coaches
that
will
comes
not.
onto that. Yeah.
The coaches will be in his ear, I assume.
Well, and they just took out an athletic trainer, so anytime that happens, the entire team that you just caused that to happen to is going to rally around that kind of situation and try to put the herd out on the field. But they're not going to enjoy that. Yeah.
And right here we heard,
It's the opposite now.
a blindside block, now a personal foul. This
Yeah.
is when these games starts to pick up with the tension. You got to make sure you play within, inside the bounds of the rules here, but
And
it
that-
does definitely add excitement to the game nonetheless.
And that also is another aspect to these rivalry games. People get so pumped up and so hyped, and that they sometimes, and not all the time, of course, have a tendency to play a little too hard or a little too out of their control.
You can never play too hard, I feel like, but yes, you can 100% play out of your control. And
The context of hard is physically
right.
too imposing, yes.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be a first
guarantee you
down.
there's going to be a coach grabbing a face mask and screaming in a couple series,
yeah,
or at least
I'm
in the next
sure.
series or so.
Question is on which sideline, maybe
Yeah.
both.
Probably both. I mean, the main thing is if you want to win a football game that has this much
Discipline is key.
Yeah, discipline is the
Yeah.
most important part.
Moore Park takes their first timeout of the half here. First timeout that we've seen, and there's only 11 minutes, 36 seconds remaining here in the first half. Well, we have a little break in action. I want to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Once again, thank you very much for making this all happen, starting with Corner Bakery Cafe in Simi Valley Town Center. Proud to support Moore Park College Athletics, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering. As Emery has said, it's very good. Matera Design Consultant. For all your design, layout, and production needs, contact Vince Matera at vmateraearthlink.net. Matera Design Consultant. Los Robles Hospital System has been your source for your family's health care for more than 50 years. Award-winning care now closer to home. Custom Pie and Bar next door. Wood-only oven pizzas, 17 beers on tap, wine by the glass, appetizers, pasta, salad, and more. Home of the Raiders happy hour after each home football game, including tonight. With that being said, we're going to get right back into the action as Moore Park continues this drive. Ball on the 30, first down to start this next series.
Ball on the 30, they're on the fringe of field goal range. You want to come away with points after the response by Ventura, at least tie it up here.
Morrison once again at the running back position as he's gotten this entire drive back there. Skinnier motion behind Johnson. He's going to hand it off to Morrison. He's going to feel his receiver take a lick, but able to shove forward for an extra yard on that. And that's something that running backs, I think, don't do often enough. And, I mean, you guys might be able to vouch for me here. When they take that initial contact, a lot of them decide to go down. But just reaching for that extra yard, using your body to carry yourself even an extra half yard makes all the difference when you come down to those itty-bitty, between 6 inches and a foot.
Well,
Well,
football.
Nick-
Well, go ahead.
Well, Nick, that usually happens when I fall on my face in slow
Yeah.
motion. I just, tumble that extra half yard as
Yeah.
I'm on my way to the ground. But
Exactly.
I think when it comes to practice, there's a lot of emphasis on the offensive line play of the Raiders because they've been able to pick up their blocking and create some lanes for these runners.
It's going to be a 2nd and 3. Snap is low, but Johnson able to get it. Has one man in the back of the end. He's going to throw it to him. Does he have it? It's going to be out of bounds.
Oh, man, I wish
What
I
a
could have a replay on
tremendous
that.
catch.
Reese
though.
Smith coming out with a phenomenal catch. It looked like he might have had his back foot down, but the referee's going to say it was out of bounds. And that's going to bring up a 4th down
We
and
don't have-
4.
I don't believe at this level we have replay, do we?
We do not.
So that's
At least not at Moore Park College.
No, I
I know that COC has it, I think.
Yeah, we outside of Moore Park College, once I moved on, I went and got my degree in sports broadcast, production, that kind
Right,
of
right.
stuff. And the company that I work for currently, we have 8 cameras on replay. So I guarantee you might have had an angle for it.
yeah.
It's going to be a 3rd down, apologies, and 4. Johnson gets a snap, looking, feels the pressure, throwing into the pocket, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down. Heads-up play by Reese Smith, who had just been denied that last pass reception. Is now enough for the 1st down.
Reese Smith having a pretty good game against College of the Canyons, and now he's definitely looking to repeat that, and he's done that already with a couple of pretty good catches tonight.
And that was a smart move because he saw the pocket collapse and he knew he couldn't get away, so he had to get the ball out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So 1st down once again. 10 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter.
Read option.
Johnson's going to take it himself. One man to beat. Does he have it? He loses the
Oh,
ball.
is that a touchback?
No, his knee was down. That's what they're going to say.
His knee was down right there on the 1 yard
Isaiah
line.
is very lucky.
Yeah.
But
That's the downfall of reaching for that goal line. If you lose control of that football, that's a risk.
Remember,
lose control, yeah,
The
outs-
ground cannot cause a fumble here, so that's the one positive to the play there.
Right.
If
But
just
to
for our
me,
viewers,
you would never want to take
No,
that risk.
no. And I was going to say, Isaiah Johnson almost running like a LaShawn McCoy with the football just out in his hand doing this whole thing.
right. But just for our viewers back home to understand what Justin's talking about, if he does lose that ball prior to crossing the plains and that ball goes out of bounds, it's a turnover on down and a touchback.
Yep.
So lucky that they're going to say that he was down before he lost possession.
Well, now they're bringing it back. There was a penalty.
There was a penalty on the.
Yes.
There was a flag, personal foul. So that's going to move them back to the 16, up to the 16-yard line.
Must have been a late laundry on the field.
Yeah. So as I read it here, it's not going to be off. It's a dead ball penalty, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so a 15-yard gain and a 15-yard penalty, but you get the first down. So, of sorts, it's
it
not
resets,
too terrible.
but you just basically go back to where you started the original series.
Yeah. Hey, but a new set of downs.
That's true.
Let's get it done here.
Going to throw it once again. Reese
there you
Smith,
go.
1 minute beat.
Another
Touchdown,
flag
but
is
there is a
down.
flag on the play.
Yeah.
Probably a hold. Usually when it's in that vicinity, it means it's on one of the offensive line. Yep. And
That's going to come back, and that's how you destroy a drive right
Jacob
there in the momentum.
Andrade on the hold.
Andrade on the hold right there, as Justin had just said. That's going to move the ball. That's going to take away their touchdown not only, and now bring them back a further 10 yards from the original spot.
And this
of
is
that ball.
something that we talked about in terms of this Moore Park team and their storylines. Penalties have killed them this season. Again, they had 10, which you alluded to was a lot in terms of sheer amount, but it was only 85 yards. They're racking up yards on this drive alone. It's got to be almost 30. And when you look at penalties on the year, 93 for Moore Park for 761 total yards.
Skinnier gets the handoff. He
That
muffs
was
the
supposed
ball.
to be a pass.
That was, as it's going to still roll. It's going to keep rolling as the Pirates are going to come on top of it. Skinnier not able to hold on to that ball as the Pirates are going to have a huge momentum shift. Just a play prior, Smith losing that touchdown for the Raiders, and just one play later, now a fumble that leads into the Ventura Pirates having possession.
Yeah, that's a drive that was completely killed by penalties on the Moore Park side of the football. And, you know, when things are bad, chances are they're going to get worse as they go on, especially when you're talking about stupid penalties like holding and personal fouls. That was a very unclean drive, and that's ultimately the ending of what not necessarily was to be. Yeah, it wasn't promising, and that's what the result of it is. So Moore Park needs to really collect themselves
only did
here.
he fumble it.
Dropping back, looking to his right side, going to roll out to his right, trying to get to the outside corner, breaks a tackle, looking for a block, takes a hit as he falls down. He's pushed out of bounds right there at about the 45-yard line. Heads up play right there, turning the sack into a gain of 7.
And his knee just hit the track as he was hit, as he was exiting. I'm surprised he didn't actually draw a flag there for a late hit. But
Maldonado, on the play.
I think he pushed him as he was going out.
Well, and to go back to that fumble, not only did you lose the ball, but you gave them solid field position in a sense as well. So it's not as if you're losing it on the 20 and you have 75, 80 yards to go.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 3 here for the Pirates. Maldonado looking, he's going to throw off his back foot going deep. And that's going to be caught at the 11-yard line. What a snag by number 8 for the Pirates coming down with that. Chris Reeves just outmanning number 16 for the Moore Park Raiders on that one, DeAndre Smith. Pardon me, Colby Williams. 9 minutes and 3 seconds remaining here in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, they had it basically wide open. It was almost a Hail Mary style throw. Both of the receivers, well, the defensive back and the receiver there.
There was a penalty against number 18, Colby Williams, but they did decline it, so that pass will stand.
Yeah, late hit on the quarterback, but that was interesting. The flag didn't come out initially. That was something I was looking at as the football was released. But yeah, he basically had a jump ball, and Ventura just got it.
Fargus up the middle there. Inside the red zone here, as they're at about the 3-yard line, knocking on the goal line.
I think Ventura, in all honesty, really just wants it a little bit more at the moment.
It's not that they want it more. They're just they're winning the small battles right now. They haven't committed nearly
Could it be
as
the
many
height of the
penalties.
receivers in terms of an extra inch or two to a couple of the guys?
Could be. Yeah, Ventura College has a very high pedigree in terms of recruiting for players. So it's it's a battle of trying to beat the guys who are really, really good. And You know, again, remember, Ventura was not so long ago in a state championship football game, and you got a lot of sophomores who are returning this year.
And they were ranked #1 coming into the year.
Yeah,
So
until Saddleback hit something
yes,
to say
right,
about that.
exactly. Yeah, and they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
As
Yep.
well. And what a turnaround for them, because the previous year they had struggled a bit in terms of finishing their season.
Yeah, they weren't in a good place themselves. And you know, they play in a really, really difficult division as well. A lot of really strong football teams up there.
Gonna be a 3rd down and 2 here, just outside the goal line. Fargas has it once again. He's going to cross the plains. That's a touchdown for the Ventura Pirates as they're going to go up 16-7.
And that was a easy scamper in for a touchdown.
And this is where Moore Park seems to lose themselves. They always sometimes even starting the game off with the lead, and they don't seem to build back to that momentum that they have. They always start hot in the first quarter, sometimes even to the first half, like we saw them do against El Camino. But then the second half they lose it. So making sure that they have a short-term memory, getting back out there.
Yeah, well-designed offensive draw for the running back. All he had to do is be patient and wait for the blocks to develop downfield. You saw the pulling guard and their left tackle actually move across the field so that they could get blocks set up.
And that's going to make it 17-7 as the Pirates go up by 10 with 7:49 remaining here in the first half.
And throughout this season, the Raiders have long been a first-half team. And in some ways, the adjustments that the opposing team makes in the second half create that margin. But we see sort of a reversal of roles here.
We want to thank a couple more of our sponsors once again, starting with Marketplace, the official supplier of trophies, awards, gifts, and apparel for Moore Park College since 2007. Coca-Cola celebrates helping athletes power through with Powerade. Corporate Graphic Communications, the official signage company of Moore Park College Athletics. Jan's Marketplace, cheers to a successful season, proudly supporting Moore Park College Athletics. And with that being said, as we just talked about, Ventura is up 17-7, 7:49, pardon me, remaining in the first half of this game.
You can round up.
We can round up, right?
Round up.
Why not? Give it 8. Ventura
Moore
to
Park
kick.
needs to answer on this possession.
Another booming kick that's going to fall just inside the 1-yard line. It's going to be returned here by Lee, who's going to take it down to the 25 before he falls over, almost on top of his own head. I think he got a nice 3 or 4 yards by that fall, as they're going to mark the ball down there at roughly the 30-yard line.
Yeah, so 7:40 to go here in the first half, and you know, another good run back by the Moore Park Special Teams unit for returns. And that's something that they were really good at and have been pretty efficient at least as of last week. So.
And Brandon Archibald, the longest return he's had was 35 yards today in the first quarter. To this point, of course, there will be more to come.
But, I mean, it's that small gain versus taking it at the 25 versus taking it at the 30.
Right.
Taking it at the 35. It's that extra 5 yards that really help out a drive and starting position.
But the placement by Arroyo has also been solid because it forces Archibald to take it out regardless, punting it at the 1.
Johnson's going to hand it off to Archibald. A lot of success early on with the spin move. Take it for a 6-yard gain. One thing that I've noticed is Archibald having success in between the tackles. Now, he's without a doubt the smallest running back for the Moore Park Raiders, but having the most success in the running game and surprisingly in his weakest area in between the tackles. When he gets outside the tackles to those hash markers and to the sideline, that's when he's the most deadly.
It allows him to turn upfield and really use that speed.
Yeah, his quickness, too. Not just how fast he is, but his quickness to accelerate and decelerate. Johnson once again, the shotgun. Archibald to his left side. He's going to go ahead and hand it off to Archibald once again, but this time he's stuffed right there at the line of scrimmage.
That's a loss of yards on this. Not the direction you
a
want
loss
to
of
be
1,
headed.
correct.
Yeah, loss of
Leading
1.
that tackle there, number 91 for the Ventura Pirates on that one, Darius Johnson.
Well, Isaiah Johnson has definitely risen to the occasion in this half because the one drive where it stalled was the result of penalties. He's been able to convert on third. Yes, and he's been able to convert on third down early in this game.
And that has primarily been due to his legs being able to move through the pocket
right now.
fluidly. Like right now, here we go. Oh, man.
He loves to lower that shoulder.
Drops his head and lowers the shoulder. It makes you wonder, I mean, before being a quarterback, did he ever entertain the idea of running the football full time?
Well, he did win a state championship at Crenshaw High School.
No
we
kidding.
talked about that, yeah. So he's definitely knows he has that dog mentality. I mean, you win a state championship, you definitely got to know what it takes to sacrifice your body. But the downside to that is being the starting quarterback for a college team. You don't want to do that as often as he does it. But that's why, I mean, sometimes Moore Park will come out with a victory or at the very least come away with the first down because he does things like that so often. But nonetheless, Moore Park's going to go ahead and punt the ball as that's going to drop down at about the 30-yard line, roll down to the 25 where it is returned for just a yard before he goes out of bounds on that.
Beautiful angle there
Really good punt.
by Mokshian because it forces the returner to go straight out of bounds. You cut off the angle upfield, minimal return.
Dustin Sanchez, the returner for Ventura College, had nowhere to go in terms of left to right kind of movement, and he just was only able to take the football out of bounds as it carried him. So.
Well, and I think that was a smart call because you're not close enough to midfield to be able to go for it.
Yeah.
It's a 17-7 game. Your defense has played pretty solid for the most part.
Pins him inside the 30. It makes him have to drive almost the full length of the field. So check that, 75% of the field.
Maldonado back in there. He's going to go ahead and throw it across the middle. It's caught by number 7, who's across the 50 before he is tackled. What a phenomenal throw and catch.
Daniel Moraga, he comes in from the slot position all across the middle, and that was just a simple route. He found the soft spot in the zone as the linebackers and defensive backs have moved off to cover your outside receivers. So.
And the reason for that was a pinpoint pass inside the numbers.
You know, and he's a pretty tall receiver, so you can kind of elevate the football and not be in fear of losing it to a shorter defensive back. And that ball's tipped at the line.
It's going to be broken up right there. Maldonado trying to hit his intended receiver on that one. His go-to guy, number 13, Vaughn.
And if you're the Raiders, that's what I want to see. I haven't seen enough pressure. They're putting 3 instead of 4 in the box, and they're forcing their secondary to play one-on-one coverage, and they don't have the speed to run with these receivers.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and that's primarily probably because they understand that the receivers out there are really quick and finding ways to get open.
Like,
second down and 10 here. Fakes the handoff, looks over to his right side. Just thrown behind. That's the second or third throw we've seen by Maldonado where he underthrows or overthrows his receiver. In particular, we've seen that happen a couple times with number 11, Mark Farrell alone. So the chemistry is a little bit off. I think that's something that happens when you take your starting quarterback and you put in the backup.
So this is what we go back to what you were talking
exactly.
about.
They only put 3 guys in the box.
Yeah. It forces them to
and now they jump.
Third and 10, there's a flag.
Free
He's
play.
going to go ahead and throw it deep. He has him wide open. Man, does he have it just overthrown. As there's a flag, as you guys talked about, could be a potential free play, which means that Ventura has nothing to lose.
And I want to point something out here. There on the far side hash, there was a push against Troy Smith. Not Troy Smith. It's a quarterback. Colby Williams, cornerback, yeah. That was there was a push. He actually got pushed off on by the wide receiver, and he was pleading to the referee on the outside or the far sideline, saying, "Where's the flag for that?" And that would have been offsetting penalties. But here we go, third and half the distance now. It makes it a little bit easier to claim that that first down.
Maldonado in the back, just throwing off his back foot again, just trying to have his man beat it, but it's going to be out of bounds.
Another neutral zone infraction. That's going to be a first down here for Ventura.
2 in a row.
Colby Williams, and he got called for one on the last drive as well. I mean, he really has to be aware of his surroundings. Sometimes these corners, they like to play up, but they also have to make sure they're playing behind that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you need to know where the line of scrimmage is. I mean, it's one of the basic rules of football in general, but especially defensively.
Yeah, Alec Tafoya running off the field right now, and he's getting a quick word from the coaching staff on the sideline saying, dude, you need to figure out the snap count or stop trying to guess it.
But again, I think affecting the quarterback is the key here. They haven't done a lot of that.
Yeah, you got to hit the quarterback
He's
if
had
you want to be scared
day,
of the pocket.
He's had all day to throw.
4:57 remaining in the first half. Handoff once again to Vargas. Gain of 7 on the carry.
One thing I want to point out is Jaden Vargas actually went to high school with our quarterback here, Dustin Sanchez. Or check that, Dino
Maldonado.
Yeah, he went to high school with him, and most people don't know this, but Jaden Vargas was at Allen Hancock College last year, and he transferred over with Maldonado.
You get a reception by Vaughn, who breaks a tackle, spin moves, and pulls his body for a nice gain of 3. There was a flag on the play down at about the 25-yard line. And number 4 loses his helmet for the Moore Park Raiders, that being losing his helmet, Damon Johnson.
And Emery, to piggyback off that point you just made.
There's also a player down right now getting looked at for the Moore Park Raiders. We're not sure what number that is. We will get that to you as soon as we find out, but hate to see that happen for the Raider defense.
To piggyback off that point that you mentioned, people have to understand how big of a deal that actually is. When you play in high school together and then you have the ability to play in college, the chemistry you have between the two of you and in terms of the entire team is a big, big, big deal, and also a big advantage when you're playing an opposing team.
Yeah, it allows you to operate in a smoother fashion and keeps communication the way that you've done it in high school.
So there was a foul on the play by number 11 of the Pirates, that being Mark Farrell, who ripped off number 4 Damon Johnson's helmet for the Raiders.
It's Don Brown. He's the defensive back.
Don Brown, pardon me.
Yeah, they got 2 11s on the roster.
That's right.
In case anybody doesn't know, the way they've broken down the roster is they have a number and then a dash that says D on it, which means defensive player. So they have same jersey numbers, but
wouldn't that be Mark Farrell, because he's a receiver for the Pirates?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. The
So yeah,
Pirates
okay,
are on the
Mark Farrell,
offensive side of
ripped
the ball.
off
My
Damon.
mistake.
You're all. Hey, it's all right. Emory's getting back into it. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 13.
Well, that helps the cause.
Vargas moves out to the left side, feeling the pressure. He's going to throw it away to a big receiver as he hurdles. We don't see that too often at this level. Number 7, big boy right there. That was Daniel Moraga.
Yes, their tight end who had that nice catch over the middle of the field earlier in this drive, and
He's been a
he's
big
that tall
target
target
for them.
for him.
And
Yeah,
I think he might be the number 1 in this target in this game.
He's listed at 240, but he looks like he could easily be 260.
he's a big man.
Yeah, 6'4", 240 is they got him listed out here. It's going to be a 3rd down and 11. Maldonado's going to get the call from the coach along with the rest of the skill players.
Yeah, right now they're checking the coverage right here, trying to see where the soft spot on the zone is, and the defense is going to do the exact same thing as they're trying to catch him on the hard count. And we will hear whistles. Again, yes, that's right. 3:13 on the clock, time check.
So timeout for Ventura. That's their first charge timeout of the half.
Oh, and they're trying to avoid the delay of game penalty. That's what it was.
And you hate to see that happen. That happens a lot in the NFL as well. You can't get that. You get that check call. Sometimes we hear them say kill, kill, kill. And, they audible the call, but then there's not enough time on the play clock to adjust to it, so they have to waste a timeout. But those sometimes are the worst ways to waste a timeout, just to avoid a 5-yard penalty.
Dino Maldonado, he's a redshirt freshman quarterback. So the way that works is you're going from a 40-second play clock in high school to a 25-second play clock, and that really changes things up. Even if you're a redshirt and you've had a year to kind of adjust to it, it's a little bit different the moment that you're out on the field. And he has had limited time playing this season as well. So.
Emory, I'm not sure if you know this. Are they trained at that level to expect the 25-second play clock once they get here?
Not in high school. No.
Okay.
You're taught to take advantage of every bit of that 40 seconds that you have between plays. And that's primarily because they don't have the opportunity. You're trying to speed up the game in college, and they don't have the opportunity to really get as much direction from the coaches on the sideline in high school.
Okay.
So they give them that extra buffer.
And that's going to be hit right there for a gain of 5 or 6 yards. Once again, number 4 back in the game, Nevin Ewan. I also want to point out, too, on top of that, what Emory Johnson's saying is, on top of that, they have to take advantage of that play clock, but lost my train of thought here. It's going to come back to me in a second. There is a timeout by Moore Park. I just had it. That's the 2nd timeout for the Moore Park Raiders.
We're reminiscing about high school football.
You were talking about high school football.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
You'll
It's going to kill me. It's going to kill me. You're talking about the play clock being 40 seconds and how they take advantage of every second of it. And I lost.
Do you think they should be trained at that level?
It's generally starting to be taught to senior quarterbacks, guys who are looking to play at that next 4-year level. And, and it's a big question mark for a lot of guys because they go, huh? I have almost half the time that I had before to get, have the play over with, get set and ready to go again. And yeah, that's the truth. And that's what we really like about this level of football as well. The junior college level of football is a great place for these kids to learn
and grow.
I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
On top of it, it's also a 12-minute longer play of game because, of course, in high school, they're 12-minute play clocks.
15 minutes.
And you get 15 minutes. And now we're not even talking about the skill level and the speed of the game, picks up every level. You go from, Pop Warner to high school to junior college to D1 to, every level it's getting faster and faster.
In high school, I was talking to an ex-professional running back. I can't remember the guy's name, but I went to Westlake High School, so a high pedigree of football player over there. And, there's a lot of ex-professional players in there.
4th down and 5. They're going to go for it here. Ewan's going to go ahead and throw it deep, as there definitely
That's
was
a
some
flag.
holding on that. They're going to throw a flag on that one. And that flag's going to go against Colby Williams, number 18. Called his name a couple times earlier for some penalties. That's the third penalty alone going against him on this drive.
And that's a killer.
And they keep picking apart Williams as they know that he can't hang with these receivers at the moment. Intended receiver on that number 8 for the Pirates, who's got that holding call against him, Chris Reeves, the wide receiver.
And pass interference penalties usually come when the cornerback gets to the receiver too early and starts, instead of making a play on the football, making a play on the receiver by grabbing or hooking the arm.
Maldonado looking again. He's going to have a quick, just little two-step drop back because he's going to hit his receiver. And there looks to be another flag on the play as that ball is caught down at the 10-yard line.
These are slowly adding up this game.
It's going to go against Williams again. And other thing I think that should be noted, and you can physically see just by the way that he's standing, but what you do to the confidence of what a player does to himself with all of these penalties, you start getting inside your own head. You're a lot more hesitant to play up man coverage to make that last second hit because you become so afraid of getting more penalties. So Williams' confidence has to be low, but he has to have a short-term memory loss and shake it off. So it's going to be a first down inside the 8-yard line as the running back, breaks a couple tackles and picks up a gain of maybe 2 or 3 on that one. Fargus once again.
This is the biggest defensive series of this game at the moment. Moore Park is down 10. If they give up a touchdown here, they are down at least 2 scores. 3 actually, when you think about it.
Fargus losing his helmet. We've seen this happen once before when they were inside the red zone where he had to come out. This is a definite blow, at least for this next play for the Pirates. See how they can adjust with a new running back in there. Actually, number 21 coming in right now, being Chuck Wick.
Now watch the movement.
Helmet losses too.
Yeah, you got to get those those snap buttons on the helmet signed up a little bit. Now watch the movement of the offensive line for Ventura here. That's what they're usually really good at, and then now they send a receiver out wide. That's their tight end.
Going to get the snap, looking over to his right side. He's going to throw across the middle. It's broken up and just out of the hands of another unintended wide receiver for the Pirates.
Yeah, it was broken up by, that was Carlos Coates.
He's
he had his
the
hand
number
up.
1 linebacker on this team, the signal caller for this group as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's the man who knows where the football is probably going to be going on the snap. And he had his hand up and was able to tip it away, but it was almost picked up by the wide receiver.
It would have been a touchdown if it was not tipped.
Yeah, well, thank goodness.
Wide receiver was in between the numbers, pretty open.
Yeah, but there's a lot of tight coverages that are being played here. I mean, he would have had to definitely throw through a narrow window here as they go to third down.
1:31 remaining here in the half. Motion receiver Vaughn across. Maldonado's going to get the snap. Going to throw it into the back of the end zone where it's caught and dropped. What a great defensive play. Led there by number 4, Damon Johnson.
And
Mercy
they're lucky.
broke that up.
they're lucky that Mark Farrell had to jump for the football there because otherwise they wouldn't have had an opportunity to be able to knock it away, and they did as he got his hands around it. That's a good stop on defense here as they bring the kicking unit out for Ventura.
Well, and that goes back to what we talked about earlier, which is why I don't know why they're not rushing the quarterback more than they have, because you're forcing your receivers to stay in one-on-one coverage longer, and your cornerbacks for the defense that matter.
Nearly blocked, as that's going to be good as the Pirates go up go up by 13 as it's now 20-7. But as you talked about, Emery, I mean, it is great that they were able to stop the touchdown because it keeps it as a 2-possession game.
Yeah, it keeps it a 2-score game, and now Moore Park has a chance to run their 2-minute drill with a running quarterback, which, that can kind of excite things because they like to move things along. If they can play a little no huddle here, they might be able to cash it in for a score. Just got to make sure you don't turn the football over and allow Ventura to take another set of points here before the end of the half.
And I think that Moore Park would probably play for a field goal more than a touchdown option unless
Get some
they get
sort
a
of
big,
points.
Yeah, big
They have just
strike
one
downfield.
timeout remaining. We do want to thank just a few more of our sponsors real fast here. Want to thank the Had Restaurant in Simi Valley since 1951. 68 years of serving the world-famous pastrami, burgers, dogs, chili. Open 7 days from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Go to the www.thehat.com. Also, Ladin Auto Group featuring Subaru, family-owned and operated for over 45 years. Always closer to home. Located in the Thousand Oaks Mall, Ladin Subaru. And with that, as we talked about, just 1:19 remaining here in the first half. Moore Park does have just one timeout. Whether touchdown or a field goal, it is without doubt. Moore Park needs to put some points up on the board.
And look for yet another big kickoff return from Archibald or Lee here.
And remember, they started with the game with the receiving. Pardon me, they started receiving.
In the kickoff was taken as
By
a
Moore Park.
receiving
Moore Park started
kickoff,
with the
yes.
first possession of the game. Therefore, Ventura will have the first possession of the second half. So it's critical that Moore Park puts some points up, as they will not start the second half with the ball. Got a little bit jumbled up in my head there, but it happens.
Life of a sportscaster, and yet the words just can't come to the mind.
That's right. Sometimes it happens to the best of us.
Hardest job in professional sports.
That's right. Without a
But we
doubt.
love it. We love it, which
That's
is why
right.
we do.
Those
awesome.
guys out on the field know nothing of the hardships.
Pronouncing names.
Yeah, enunciating names. That's right.
Hockey
Seeing who it
names
is.
in particular.
So Moore Park's going to
Hockey
start this
games
drive
is-
here at the 30-yard line, 1st and 10, a minute 12 to go.
So that extra 5 yards, let me tell you. Again, another pretty good return here
Yeah,
by the offense.
and that could be a big difference here in this drive.
that extra 5 yards.
Motion Sardi across. Johnson gets a snap. Feeling the pressure once again. Tries to break a tackle, but he's going to go down for a sack.
And at worst case scenario, Emery, you touched on it. You want to keep possession of the ball. You don't want to turn it over. You don't want to put yourself in a precarious position. So if you take a sack, you take a sack.
That's right.
But you don't want to lose possession of the ball.
Corey Owens on that sack for the Pirates. Looks to be a timeout called.
So 57.4.
Question is by whom? Because if it's Ventura,
They
then
call
It's
it
it's
Ventura.
Yeah,
So
they're
there's
trying to get
one
the football
timeout
back.
remaining for both teams. So they're going to set the game clock to 1:04, a minute and 4 seconds.
And with this high-powered offense of Ventura, they can score in under a minute if they really wanted to. They
Well,
have the opportunity.
They have the ability to air it out, but
Yeah.
you know they have to get the football first. And that, you know, to be fair, though they've had a couple pretty good plays down the field, they haven't been too clean
That's true.
in their passing game. I mean, I would
And
say
the
it's about
passes that
50%
have
at the
been clean
moment.
have been dropped in many cases.
Yeah, well, pretty good defensive coverage by Moore Park as
Yeah.
well. So it's always important to remember
In which case,
it goes both
Emery,
ways.
In which case, would you think that Moore Park would try to run the football and just run the clock out if they know that Ventura is going to take their timeout?
Yeah,
here?
if they have the ability to at least get a first down here, that might be the wise thing to do, just to limit the amount of, you know, just stop the bleeding here,
Right.
Figuratively and literally, and you know, get back into the locker room and lick your wounds for a second so that you can get.
Johnson going to go ahead and overthrow Sardi on that, wide out of bounds. Incomplete. That's going to bring up a 3rd down, and that's what Moore Park didn't want to do, is that clock's going to stop. Once again, Ventura not having to use a timeout with just under a minute, 59.8 seconds to be exact.
Yeah, there's a little timing route on the outside there to intended receiver,
Alex
Alex
Sardi.
Sardi. And I think they're on 2 different pages, because he threw it up, and Sardi, when he turned
Yeah,
around looking
he
for the
was-
pass, the football was not in the area he was expecting it.
Either Sardi ran the correct route and there was a miscommunication
Yeah.
at the quarterback, or Sardi ran the wrong route and the quarterback was looking for a different location.
So 3rd and 14. Johnson's going to get the ball, throw out to the right side, and that's going to be incomplete. There's going to be a flag on the play. I don't even know why Johnson would take an attempt like that, as that was clearly not going to be enough for a first down,
Well,
unless he knew he was going to draw a foul right
They
there.
had the screen kind of set up there. I don't know if it was the cleanest screen possible, but they did have one. And
if it
the
were
football was
me-
just through the defensive back's hands.
if it were me, I would have ran the football.
Yeah,
On a 3rd down and long, you're behind the chains. It's very unlikely you're going to pick up the first down,
yeah.
and you don't want to leave all that time on the clock.
But they
But
might,
then they have a timeout they could have used to stop it with a run.
they might get away with it here.
if the
in-
penalty is for the defense.
That's right, yeah.
Five, 550,
55.9.
55.9. Thank
So
you,
they're,
Justin.
They're taking a couple moments here to figure out what's going on. I think a couple different referees might have different views of it. I'm not entirely sure if it's a defensive and offensive penalty at the same time.
Right. Yeah, they're clarifying it right now. We have a great officiating staff every week, actually.
And would they replay the down if there was offsetting?
Yeah,
They
it would be
replay the
offsetting, and you replay the down 3rd
Right.
down. So he's getting the. Yeah, there
Pass
we go.
interference there against number 11 for the So because the pass is under 15 yards, the ball is going to go to the spot of the
I've never
foul.
heard of that in my
I've
life.
never heard that either. That's going against Dom Brown of
Every
the
pass
defense.
interference- Yeah.
Oh, okay. Correction. It's it's a first down now.
Every pass interference penalty
Very
I have ever
good.
heard called. was
Tomato,
always
tomato.
automatic First down.
So it went from
Very good.
a gain of 2 yards.
Well,
It's
we'll
now
see.
a
They
first down.
just placed the football down, so now, okay. It's a. Oh,
Wow.
man.
Well then,
It just turned into a spot foul, I guess.
so they haven't moved the ball anywhere, is what
Yeah.
you're saying?
No, have not
Okay.
moved the football anywhere.
Okay,
They just
no,
get a
I
new set
wanted
of
to
downs. It's
double-check.
first
I
and
was not
10.
sure.
Johnson's going to get the snap. Another flag right off the gate there. Trying to hit his receiver Sardi once again, but that's going to go out of bounds as well.
There's going to be an encroachment, I believe. Well, probably offsides.
And if you're Ventura, you're giving this Moore Park offense new life with every penalty you're giving them,
Yeah.
regardless of the yardage that comes.
Lined up in the neutral zone, so he'll be offsides.
Neutral zone infraction.
That will move the football up 5 yards and be another first down.
Another first down.
Well,
And
it will remain first down, but
yeah, well, 50.8. They may want to take a shot deep.
They do only have one timeout remaining here, just over 50 seconds. They're going to, at the very least, if they're going with these passing routes, they have to use the sidelines to their advantage. Tripped out on
but
the
this
left
so
side.
far has not been a 2-minute drill
It's
of
not,
the
to say
sorts.
the least. Handed off to Archibald, who cuts back,
Oh, wow.
breaks another
Oh.
tackle,
Oh!
stays on his feet, he's trying to get out of bounds. He's thrown down, making the tackle there, number 11 for the Pirates.
Well, clock will
Dom
stop
Brown.
as they move the chains, but watch for that referee to run over and set the football down. He's taking his time a little bit here. The moment that football gets put down, they're going to start running it. So 37 seconds on the clock, and here we go.
I think that run was meant
Another
to catch
first down
everybody
here.
off guard.
Oh,
Ball
yeah.
on the 43-yard line. Johnson once again looking to hit a receiver deep. Just through the hands once again. Number 11, Dom Brown for the Pirates. Johnson unable to hit his receiver.
Dom Brown, okay, so Dylan Lee, who's the intended receiver, is listed at 6 foot tall. I'm not entirely sure on that, but Dom Brown, okay, is listed as 6'3", and he looks like he's standing at least a head over
Dylan Lee.
yeah, Dylan Lee. I just want to point that one out. Hey, look at the two guys lining up next to each other right now. It's a little bit of a height difference out on the field right now.
I mean, they have like Brandon Archibald listed at 5'11" too, so sometimes these heights get kind of jumbled up a little bit there.
I will neither confirm nor deny as a college athlete whether or not I lied on my height.
Exactly right.
19.2 on the clock, and it will stop again as we head to
This has
third
been
down.
a very perplexing drive.
Yeah,
You mix it a run, then you go back to the air.
riddled by
I
penalties.
don't know if there's a real game plan at the moment. I'm not quite sure if there is what the game plan is for this drive.
Ordinarily, I would say just 2-minute drill, but I guess that's too simple of a comment here.
I really don't know.
He's lost for words.
I'm at a loss.
I'm
for words.
trying to analyze it yet.
It's third down and 10 here. Johnson throwing deep, trying to hit Archibald, who has open, but he's bounced off his hands and shoved out of bounds by number 32 on that coverage for the Pirates, coming through, seeing it the entire way through.
Yeah, Fern
Fern
Romero,
Romero.
you know, he was kind of drifting over as he saw the throwing go to that side, and Isaiah Johnson looked down Brandon Archibald as he was in motion and put out towards the near
Didn't
sideline.
check his other receivers. He was locked eyes.
Yeah, at the moment he put him in motion, he's like,
Yeah.
look where I'm going to go.
Well, and if he was going to go there, you'd want to hit him earlier in stride.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
when he finishes at the point of the route.
He had him almost 15 yards down the field.
It's going to be a high snap. Moxie able to get it off still,
Oh, that's a good punt.
because that's going to bounce all the way down into about the 20-yard line. Keep on rolling inside the 15 before it's finally stopped at the 14. There's going to be just 1.4 seconds remaining here in the first half, as Ventura most likely will just take a knee.
Take a knee and head into the locker room with a 20-7 lead. Very interesting half.
Yeah, I mean, it was all
It-
Ventura
it-
the first couple
all
drives, and then
Ventura,
all Moore Park, and
and
then
then Moore Park
now all
scored.
Ventura.
And in terms of the rhythm of these drives, there hasn't really been that much of a
Rhythm,
Yeah,
yeah.
there hasn't been a
It's been a
rhythm.
lack
Yeah,
of,
there's
rather.
no- it's sort of been a choppy way of scoring.
Right.
And again, I'm just perplexed as to, and Isaiah's been hot and cold. He's been solid on the ground. But these receivers, you talked about the height difference, Emery, as well. They're just at a bit of a disadvantage. Look for them to run the football more in the second half.
Well, it seemed like their entire offensive structure was better around the run. I mean,
Yeah.
there was quite literally nothing that Ventura was going to be able to do to stop either the running back or Isaiah Johnson once he got in motion. So it'll be interesting to see what each team kind of calls up here as they go towards the locker rooms.
That's going to end the first half as the Pirates lead 20-7 against the Raiders. Now, end of the final thoughts for the first half. Justin, we'll go ahead and start with you. What can Moore Park change? What can Ventura continue to do?
It's simple. If you're Moore Park, go to the running game. It's what has given you success. When you look at that last drive when they were under a minute before the half, that one run that got them north of the 40 and gave them a little bit of hope was by Archibald. The kickoff returns have been solid. And you know what? Try Trey Johnson. He's been more accurate in terms of his passing attack.
And Emery.
Yeah, no, it's keep playing very strongly on defense and come out with that same type of fire you had in the first quarter.
And that's going to wrap it up.
What's his name now? Brooks. Who's Brooks? I think his name is Chris Brooks. That's how
Tonight, a Moore Park College tradition returns. I ask everyone to please rise and remove your cap as Moore Park's own Betty Jean Hanna provides the singing of God Bless America. Pro Tem for the city of Simi Valley to participate in saluting the Simi Valley Auto Center and their dealers in sponsoring tonight's game. Previously, she served for 6 years as director of the Rancho CD Recreation Parks and Rec District Board of Directors. Dee Dee is a past president and 22-year member of the Rotary Club of Simi Valley and serves as director on both the Simi Valley Hospital Governing Board and the Simi Valley Police Foundation Board. Dee Dee is a senior vice president and operations administrator for Pacific Western Bank, overseeing all of Ventura County and the San Fernando and Santa Clarita Valleys. She was honored as the 2008 Business Person of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce, a Woman of Distinction in 2010 from the Gold Coast Girl Scouts, and a 2015 Simi Valley Humanitarian. Let's give a big Raider welcome to Dee Dee Kavanaugh, the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Simi Valley.
Thank you all. I'm very excited to be here. I'm sorry, I want to give you apologies from the mayor. He was unable to be here, but I'm excited to be representing the entire City Council of Simi Valley. As you can tell by my shirt, Simi Valley just celebrated our 50th anniversary on October 10th, and Marpark's 2 years older. I looked at that, so I wanted to make sure. And part of our history is our Simi Valley Auto dealership. They played a very important part, and they continue to do so to this day. In fact, I bought my first car from what is now Simi Valley Ford. But we have to support all of our dealerships. They have continued to support our community through education, through all of our nonprofits, and through our businesses. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce each of them tonight. So, beginning with Grace Leo, CFO, Controller of Simi Valley Relay, Coordinator Simi Valley Auto Center Council, Board of Directors for the Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce, and she'll be the new CFO for the year 2020. So, Grace Leo. Number 2 is Mary Hitler. Okay, great. So there's Mary Hitler, President of Simi Valley Ford. He is the one and only Ford man. So number 3, we have Matt McKinley, the president of Simi Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. And he's got the t-shirts. There you go. Number 4, we have Jonathan Allman, representing First Auto Group, Simi Valley. This is our first Kia, first Nissan, and first Honda. And our last but not least is Angel Asensio. He's our general sales manager for Simi Valley Toyota. So thank you all, and thank you our Simi Valley Auto Dealers Council.
Thank you so much to our wonderful Mayor Pro Tem of Simi Valley, Dee Dee Kavanaugh. Now, the Moorpark College Spirit Squad will be tossing t-shirts and other promotional items from the 5 participating dealers: Simi Valley Chevrolet, Simi Valley Ford, Simi Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, First Auto Group, and Simi Valley Toyota. Stand up, fans, and make some noise to make sure you show your true appreciation for their generous support for Moorpark College Athletics. Thank you. And now, let's give a warm welcome to this year's Moorpark College Raiders Spirit Squad. Sponsored by the Moorpark College Dance Department, the Moorpark College Spirit Squad is coached by Kelsey Stewart. Captains Erica Felder and Rebecca Lee. Co-captains Cassie Kelly, Evangeline Bautista, Danica Cackle, Ray Safer, Maddie Brown, Miranda Seguin, Stephanie Morales, and Sadie Ortiz. First year on the squad, Alyssa Bennett, Carly King, Corey Galante, Courtney Williams, Elaine Hanico, Emily Duenas, Emily Hernandez, Gigi Rodriguez, Kaylee Lixie, Irene Chiang, Isabel Jimenez, Jennifer Ojeda, Lexi Becker, Lexi Cormier, Natasha Turner, Paige Canico, Ria Guerrera, Renee Hughes, Richard Gray, Tatiana Caputo, Tori Burtok, Camina Aguilar, Natasha Loera, Dania Driscoll, and Georgie Zillatore. Let's give it up for our Raider Spirit Squad as they entertain us again for another show.
Yeah.
At this time, Raider fans, we ask you to get up on your seat. Out of your seat as the Raider Spirit Squad will be tossing out in-and-out t-shirts into the crowd.
He's like,
Please
no,
stand and make some
I
noise
did cook and
as they will be
expect
tossing
and I was
t-shirts,
wrong.
frisbees, and tools that will have an in-and-out with our compliments to enjoy any burger, fries,
You know what?
and
You know
beverage on
what?
the menu.
Next time I see you, you're not gonna expect me to do nothing. Oh, I want one of those. Yeah, over here, over here.
All right, Raider fans, you did not win. You still have one more opportunity. If you purchase a copy of Raider Illustrated magazine and it's signed by head coach Mike Stewart on page number 4, you just won a free with our compliments to enjoy any burger, fries, and beverage. Please bring your signed program up to the main press box at Griffin Stadium to claim your prize. Thank you.
to the Mike Stewart halftime show presented by Simi Valley Auto Center. Our lucky guest tonight, Grace Leo. How you doing tonight, Grace?
Great.
Awesome. And now, Grace, your job title. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm the controller at Simi Valley Chevrolet. I'm also a board of director for Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce. I'm also on the Simi Valley Auto Center Auto Council. 2020, I'll be adding as a CFO for Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce.
No, it's good. I like it.
I know it's kind of been a back and forth battle between the two teams. But how are you enjoying the atmosphere?
I always
know
make
this
jokes
is the
about myself all the time
52nd
because
Citrus Bowl, so there's a lot of
people
action,
think,
a lot of fans. How are you enjoying all that?
I loved it.
Yep.
It really brought that home. I haven't watched a football game for ages. Last time I watched a football game is when I went to USD Wyoming on the snow.
It's a little bit different than the snow huts.
Yeah.
Not nearly as cold.
Southern California.
Yeah, right. I know we're very lucky.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah. So I know you talked about you work with the Simi Valley Auto Center. Tell us a little about that relationship. I know you talked to me off camera that this is your first year working with Moore Park College. How has that early relationship been with the college and with the Auto Center?
Well, I'm always have a lot of passion with Moore Park. That would be a good opportunity for us in Simi Valley.
Right.
Auto Center, we have really a great Auto Center. It's actually, we work together. We have Honda, First Kia.
He's very quiet. Better or worse? Oops. Better or worse? Nothing? That's not good. Well, I'm getting sound through here. He's 2, right? Yes, I believe. Should be 2. Well, he's not 1. He should be 2. That's not us. Huh?
What happened?
He adjusted 1 and 2.
No, 3 was my headset.
Yes, yes, we are, and our auto center is really unique. We're not big auto center. However, our quality, the ownership, the general manager, our employees really believe in customer service. They're right there for our customer. And I really encourage you, each one of your students or faculty member and all the people in the Moore Park neighborhood, please come to our dealer group. They're really exciting people to work with. They're genuine owners.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's about 2. It's very much of an at-home vibe. You said you even have some toys set up for little kids so they can go play, which is great to see. You know, it's not so businessy, but it's a little bit more relaxed. And I think that's what someone wants when they're buying a car. Now, as you talked about the students, the faculty here. You yourself is actually a Moore Park alumni as well. Is that not right?
That is correct.
Yep.
I actually graduated University of Wyoming,
Uh-huh.
and I graduated there for 4 years.
Okay.
My husband graduated from Caltech. We both came to Moore Park College as extension education.
Right.
I took accounting courses, our computer classes. What's interesting, we took ballroom dancing as well, golf.
Right.
So,
you got some moves.
yeah, Moore Park College is awesome.
Right.
And I really believe in such a great community college.
Uh-huh.
And it's highly rated.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Highly rated. It's actually number 2 in the country for junior colleges. I mean, you know, it is such a diverse, college as far as, I mean, we have the Edom building where we actually have a zoo here. I don't know if our viewers at home know this or not. Moore Park College, a great college with academics, but also for some great opportunities. We actually have a real-life zoo, lions, monkeys, everything you can believe right here on campus. So, I mean, that's a great point. And just to wrap up a few thoughts, how do you look
for this relationship to develop? I know you said that Moore Park's really that at-home, vibe. You get a really good sense of community here. You yourself talk about how Simi Valley of Chevy, where you primarily work for, you guys are very intertwined with the community and making sure you get that family, that one-on-one customer care that you had mentioned these larger companies don't really do. So how are you looking to see the development between the relationship between Moore Park College, the students, and overall the community, progress as you continue to work and become the CFO?
Well, I can't take all the credit for it, for
Right.
Simi Valley Chevrolet only, but I think our auto center really had joint effort to make sure we touch all the community, education, Police Foundation, Boys and Girls Club, as well as community service. They not just provide financial support, they're providing personal support. They
Right.
want to go and the effort to do those things for the community. Not only that, they really, really believe in customer service. They want to earn your business.
Right.
We wanted you guys to come and join us.
Right, and that's, yeah, and you had talked to me. I had actually talked to you a little bit about cars, and I was interested, and you had told me how, overall, that if I didn't have the car, that you guys didn't have the car that I was looking for, that you were more than happy to recommend someone in that whole area, that Simi Valley Auto area, that would be able to help me. And I thought that was pretty, phenomenal, because that shows just kind of selfless person that Chevy, along with this entire Simi Valley Auto Center, is. So with that, that's going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you, Grace, very much for your time. We do appreciate your relationship with the community, along with the college and the Simi Valley Auto Center as a whole. And stay tuned. Kickoff is just underway. We see the team is getting ready right now, so don't go anywhere. And we'll be right back after this.
Thank you.
You got it. Just going to wait a second. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second half of the 52nd annual Citrus Cup, as the Pirates lead 20-7, and they look to receive for the start of the second half. Mokshian's going to kick a narrow kick right down the middle. That's going to roll down at about the 15-yard line before it is returned. Cut up in between the hashes. Is going to bounce off with a spin move. That's Vaughn on the carry, bringing it all the way to the 40-yard line. Nice return there of about 25.
All right, well, now it's decision time from both teams. Are you going to make those halftime adjustments that are going to either seal this game or change the ultimate outcome as we're headed right now? 14:50 to go in the third quarter, but this is going to be a big second half. for the Raiders to see if they can come up with some sort of stoppage here on defense in this first series for Ventura.
They started strong and they lost it like they have been in the past. They have to adjust in the second half. It's going to be a first down and 10 ball starting on the 40-yard line here. 2 running backs in the backfield. He's going to lose the ball as it looks that the Pirates are able to jump on it.
Well, that would be a really big change here, but they're going to mark that it was
he was down.
Ventura football, but that would have been exactly how you want to start
the second half.
Yeah, the second half with a good fumble, because you got the first drive of the football game was for the Raiders, and to have to start on defense is always, they talk about deferring if you win the coin toss, and that's always a big momentum shift possibly. And wow, but hey, good loss of yards. It's now 2nd and 15.
Do want to mention here that Ventura came into this series on an 11-game win streak, the longest win streak between either team for the entire rivalry. Once again, though, it's going to be a handoff up the middle. Number 21 on the carry for the Ventura County Pirates, that being Chuck Wick.
Moorpark looking like they have a little more energy under their legs right now, which is a good sign at least.
Important to note, 11-game win streak, Nick, within the rivalry.
Yes.
You mean within the rivalry? Okay, so.
Pardon me. Yes, with the rivalry.
Yeah, the last victory by Moorpark College in this rivalry, all the way back to 2008.
He's going to throw a dime down the pocket, has him wide open, hits him in stride. He's at the 10, touchdown, Pirates. What a throw. Ewan, who has taken nearly 5 to 6 snaps all game, comes in and throws a dart to his go-to receiver, Mark Farrell. What a bomb. What a strike.
Statement made. And that was a massive opening possession. Even though it didn't take as much time off the clock, they now opened up over a 3-possession game. A lead now for Ventura.
13:26 remaining in the first half, as that only took a mere minute 34 for the Pirates to go up another 6, potentially 7 with this PAT. Score being 26-7 early on in the third quarter.
So how do you adjust now if you're the Raiders?
If you're the Raiders, we spoke about it at halftime, I would start running the football. You have plenty of time in this game. It's not as if it's the fourth quarter and you're down by 20. You have another whole quarter to go here. Methodical drives, pace is key. Run the ball through the numbers, depend on your offensive line, which has been a staple in this game.
The first thing to do here is score on this drive.
Yeah, well,
that's the first step.
Easier said than done, but yes, certainly want to come away with points, preferably 7.
Do want to mention the fires that are going on right now. The Governor Newsom actually has called it into a state of emergency to support, obviously, putting out these fires. So we do want to thank all of our first responders out there, risking their lives to take care of this state of emergency. So, thoughts and prayers out to those families and ones that are out there, making sure that we're safe. Especially, Moorpark actually has been shut down twice within the last 2 weeks because these fires have gotten so close to this school alone. So this community has felt the impact of that state of emergency.
City of Ventura definitely going through it right now. They had a huge one last year.
Right.
And they've been hit by spot fires basically all week last week. And
coming from the heat wave, I mean, we've had this.
And wind.
Wind's the worst. That's what, really spreads it. This ball is going to land in the end zone as Lee's just going to watch it. It'll be a touchback.
Important to note also, we want to, of course, thank the first responders for their work, and also the fact that not just the fires or the fire physically itself is what's been affecting the area, but also the air quality has shut down a lot of schools, even schools in my area. I actually live in the valley in the Northridge area, and they've shut down a lot of LAUSD schools as a result of the air quality that has gone on.
Yeah,
so
I live in the valley as well, right there in Porter Ranch.
You're right down basically right down the street from me.
I was right there 1 block away from the fire a couple of weeks ago. And darn it, I like to sleep with my window open at night because I like a little bit of cool air, and I
can't do it now.
Do that. Yeah, not now.
It's going to be a first down and 10 ball at about the 25-yard line. Johnson once again keeping himself at a signed QB run, but it's not going to go for much. Potentially a yard if they're lucky.
So they start on the ground here, and that's exactly what we were alluding to earlier, is maybe getting that running game going. And Isaiah Johnson has really been sparking this offense with his legs early on in this game, and it seems like most of their longer drives have been propelled primarily by that dual threat quarterback and a good running attack here. And that's how you set up good throws.
And that's how Stewart wants to run his offense regardless.
Yeah,
regardless
absolutely.
of the way the game has gone. The scheme has been a running attack to open up the long passing game downfield.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 8 here. Isaiah Johnson in the shotgun once again. He's going to get the snap. Once again, it looks to be a design run. Keeps it himself and then tackled out. Stutter there for a second because it did look like he wanted to hit a receiver, but then, tucked the ball and ran it himself. Johnson,
And
though.
A lot of those runs have been option plays in which the quarterback must read whether or not he should keep the ball or give it to the running back. The majority of those decisions have been solid by Johnson today.
There is a player down on the field, though,
Yeah, it's
for the
Darius
Pirates.
Johnson, that defensive lineman who had a big sack early on in the first quarter.
And he was one of those players we talked about in the pregame show.
Made a couple of big plays thus
From
far.
Boyna High School.
Broken up pass, yeah.
Again, that was what he was known for at Boyna, and so that's not good if he's not going to be able to get up. And, and not to look at it from a bad perspective, but Moore Park College might be catching a break here because he's been causing all kinds of problems for that offensive line of Moore Park College. So this could be a huge detriment to that defensive line of Ventura College as he remains down.
We spoke about the 27 combined tackles. He was one of those in that mesh.
Do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors here. We start the second half, starting with Meathead Movers. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Meathead Movers proudly serving Ventura County since 2007. Stonefire Grill, where community is served. Dine-in, take-out, delivery, and catering. Proudly supporting Moore Park College athletics. College football is here. Celebrate with Chick-fil-A, located in the Sycamore Square in Simi Valley. Eat, drink, play at Dave & Buster's in Thousand Oaks.
That Chick-fil-A perfect for a Saturday.
Saturday,
not
not
Sunday,
perfect for
though.
a Sunday.
Not
Have you
on
heard
Sunday.
Kanye's new album talks about the Chick-fil-A?
That's right.
He does give a shout out to
Darius
Chick-fil-A.
Johnson, to continue with his stats, he's had 19 tackles, 5 assisted, 24 total. So he's a big key member of this offense.
And he's actually the number 5 leading tackler for the Pirates. As it's going to be a 3rd down and 7 here. Johnson brings a receiver in for a little bit extra protection.
A
but
lot of
there's
movement
flags.
somewhere.
First flag of the second half. We'll see where it goes.
Whoa.
Most likely the offense.
Yeah, it's a false start by the line judge. Oh my
Ah,
goodness!
He pulled it. He pulled it out of the
Wow.
NFL. He pulled it out of the NFL playbook.
Yeah, that's the Ed Hockley rule there. That's
On everybody except for the center, and
Well-
the center's standing there while the guards and the tackles are.
You
just
know he
moving
wanted
around.
it. You know he
False
wanted to
start.
say that. He's been waiting all
Everybody but
night
the
to say
center.
that.
5-yard penalty, Wow. And he has his moment of airtime, and there we go.
There's just 15 seconds of fame.
Wow.
Whitehead having a good day today. Huh.
That's right. It's going to bring it
It was
now
very
to
obvious. I mean,
3rd
it
and
wasn't
12.
Something that was sort of made up of out of thin air.
Hey
It was-
guys, let's be real subtle about this next one here.
11 and 54 remaining in the 3rd quarter here. Another
Another
flag.
false start.
Wow, 2 in a row.
On the they had trips to the left there, and well, it looked like all the receivers out there were moving.
When you look at the first half stats for Johnson, 18 attempts, 6 completions, 80 yards with a touchdown along a 47. So he's going to want to pick that up a little bit. That's only a 30% completion rating. So not a very solid in the air, which again is why we've spoken about why they need to go to the ground more.
I mean, yeah,
And
33
the question that you beg to ask is, are you willing to look down that depth chart here for the quarterback position?
Johnson going to go throw across, hits Lee, but it's caught and dropped. Going into the hands of the Pirates defender. Once again, number 11 making the play, Dom Brown. That's something that has really been kryptonite for Dylan Lee. The way he catches the ball, he's been doing it all year. He catches with the corners of his shoulder. He uses his body to maintain possession, and that's what you don't want to do, and that's why they teach you to catch with your hands, because when you use your shoulder pads, the ball's going to bounce off, and you're going to have incidents like that happen.
And that is not how you want to start your offensive possessions in this half. And we spoke about it, about Trey Johnson being more accurate in the passing game. That was not Isaiah's fault on that
No,
play. That was
absolutely
just
not.
tipped. But
Don't be-
it goes
don't
back.
be
It goes
fooled.
back to your point of going down the depth chart. We saw it last week.
Ewan's going to get the snap, throw it right to his left. Quick catch and go.
It's going to be a gain of 3 yards on the reception.
Well, on the last drive for Ventura, they were stopped for the first couple of snaps, but then were able to convert a long third down into a touchdown. So
and that's demoralizing for
very,
defense.
Very.
And if they score here, that could be sort of the nail in the
coffin. There it is. 2nd and 7.
Forgive me for being slightly morbid, but
gets the adjusting the call here as the skill position players get the adjusted call here. Ewan, once again, having to feel pressure, rolling out his right side, throwing off back foot, has one receiver open, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds. It's going to be clean. Nice stop there for the defense. So the defender on that coverage, number 26 for the Moore Park Raiders, reading it the whole way through. That's Dante Gibbons.
Well, and throwing off your back foot right there is not the way to go if you're the quarterback, because you are not getting enough air underneath the ball and enough power from your legs to stay square with your shoulders.
You can't put enough accuracy on it as well, because throwing off your back foot, you aren't able to plant and have a nice firm grip when you release. So that's going to bring a 3rd down and 8 up.
And not everyone is Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
No.
And Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes right now either. Another deep ball. This one, he had plenty of time. There is going to be a clear. There's going to be a no call on that.
No
Moore
flag.
Park very lucky to come away with that.
I think there was hand contact on both.
Yeah, they're kind of playing into each other, and it was Mark Farrell who turned around at the last second to look at the football, but they were kind of both playing it off each other as they go around, and I think that was going to be considered just a
so good no call.
Yeah,
good no call.
Good
Got
no
it.
call. It could go either way. That's one of those judgments by the referee.
And somebody jumps.
That's going to be on the defensive line right there. Can't see the number. Jersey's kind of tucked up, but it is going to go against the defensive line of the Raiders, as that's going to be a neutral zone. Offsides, pardon me.
Usually they don't call dead a defensive offsides, but
it's usually a free play.
Yeah, usually a free play. So,
well, I guess when you make contact with the player, then
wouldn't that be constituting encroachment?
Yeah.
At that point,
could be just a different verbiage
yeah.
of the call.
Well, definitely changes the 4th down call here possibly, but it looks like they didn't even get any direction from it. They're going to go with the same style of what they were looking at.
Option right there. As he takes it and he has just enough for a 1st down. Nice read there by Ewan to get it off to his receiver.
And now they're a bit chippy. Now, interesting, I saw an official on the far side of the field. He threw his hat on the track, if you could see, all the way in the corner over there near the pylon. Usually that constitutes as a penalty if they can't get their flag out of their pocket in time. At least I believe it
is there a referee with a missing hat out there? Yes, there is.
Yeah.
The John
it could have been just a marker of the
ball spot of the ball. Yeah. John getting a little bit more intense here as we start to wind down in the 3rd quarter.
So there's no penalty flags out, even though it seemed like there was a lot of violence going on in that little huddle that they had together.
Run's going to be up the middle, gain of 5 yards. Number 21 on the carry there, Chuck Wick once again. Wick, really the number 1 running back for the 2nd half. Surprisingly, we don't know what happened to Jaden Fargas, but Fargas, without a doubt, the number 1 leading rusher of the 1st half, 58 yards, a touchdown, and 11 carries.
And if you're Ventura, you're going to want to start running the football now as well. Bleed the clock.
Vaughn gets it, breaks a tackle, getting some speed, takes it inside the 5-yard line.
Look for them to maybe even snap the ball inside of 20 seconds, 15 maybe. Not necessarily going at an extremely slow rate, but a more methodical pace.
Here they go with the quick snap.
And they
tackled for a loss.
And I spoke too soon.
Well, broadcaster's curse, if you will.
Yes, right. Interesting as well, again, they've used 2 quarterbacks in this game. Something we spoke about. They've used UN and Maldonado very effectively tonight. UN, at least in my opinion, has been more effective in the option game and the run game, and Maldonado in the passing attack.
2nd down and 6 here, ball inside the 10-yard line. Ewan going to throw off his back foot once again, but he hits his receiver, but it's going to go right through his hands.
Great pass break up there. That was Cashton Haffrey. He was beat a little bit on the initial throw, and he came in at the last second, got his hands right between the football and Mark Farrell's hands. That was a really good heads-up play right there.
And
That could have been 6.
That's the kind of recovery you need if you're either undersized or just beaten with speed, to use your hands to try to strip that football.
Yeah, the advantage that Mark Farrell has is not only is he 6'4", but he's fast.
Right.
Really fast.
He seems to be the go-to guy alongside Terrell Vaughn, number 13.
6'4" receiver. What's not to love about him?
Yeah, right, as long as he can catch. It's going to be thrown across the middle, as that's going to be a touchdown. Hit to his receiver on that target.
He won't turn
For a
towards us.
number. We're trying to see a number here. Doesn't look like a body type that we've seen too much tonight.
Number 10, maybe? No.
I see a 2.
I see a.
Oh, you see it too.
I see a 2.
Don't disappear.
21.
Chris Atkins, possibly. He's listed at 5'11". He looks pretty short. Let's see.
Shorter wide receiver is what we can. We don't have to speculate that.
Well, if you're
it's not
watching
so
online and your son is a shorter wide receiver, please let us know so we can confirm
Correct the record.
We have the live chat on the YouTube. You guys are more than welcome to chime in with your thoughts.
Also, yeah, please leave feedback for us as well. We do go back and watch these games for our own career benefits in terms of how we say things.
Good
and
point.
What we say.
Good point. Yep. Well, with that being said, we do want to start the sponsor list. Once again, thank everyone for contributing to the Moore Park athletics and broadcast in some shape or form. Starting with U.S. Army, go on business trips with a company like no other, U.S. Army. Big Brand Tire and Service, big on fast, big on friendly. Wells Fargo Bank. Wells Fargo is recommitting to helping all customers succeed financially. Wells Fargo, established in 1852, reestablished 2018. With that, we are back. But once again, it's been all Ventura this second half. Moore Park really has to switch gears if they want to even have a chance to come out and pull a victory on this one.
And now Emery and Nick, the run game needs to be abandoned. You need to start throwing the football and scoring quick.
But see, the downside to that is this ball is going to be kicked right outside the end zone. Archibald's going to have to just take a knee.
Take a knee, yep.
But the downside to that, Justin, is that's a great point. Of course, it's not working. Why go with it? But then you become so predictable that the defense for the Ventura Pirates understands that there is no run game, so then they can just key on your pass game for the entire remainder of the game, which it makes it that much harder to set up the whole point like you had talked about to start the game.
But the reason being with the time and score, I just don't see
No,
how you
I
can.
understand.
Right.
I get you. But I feel like you still have to have a couple of run plays here that you can't go strictly pass only, because then you become unpredictable and you can't have success if the defense is, they're going to start sitting in zone coverages.
The other option, you take a shot deep, you try to get a big gain early, and then if you're north of the 50, you can start setting up that run attack.
There is 8 minutes and 8 seconds remaining here in the third quarter for our viewers at home. Score is 34-7. Ventura leads. Johnson's going to get the snap. Of course, take a step backs. He's going to break a tackle, spin move, and then go down. And that's going to be a sack for a loss of 9.
I'd be pretty dizzy after that whole thing. It looked like he was spinning one direction, spinning another direction.
In other words, he's not Johnny Manziel.
Throw that football away,
No, okay,
please.
Johnny Manziel is very overrated.
Well,
wow.
He's overrated.
He's going straight for the throat.
Okay, NFL. You can't.
How many snaps have you taken in the NFL?
His college game.
None, but I also stay away from any sort of performance enhancing or restricting drugs as well.
Illicit type drugs.
Illicit type
that's a good
drugs.
point.
Well, we certainly don't want to insult Johnny's
Oh,
character.
we're not.
Oh, Mr. Mansell, I'm sure, has heard worse from other people.
Johnson's going to keep it himself. He's going to be tackled.
Yeah, I don't think the run game directly to the quarterback is the right call.
Well, the running backs have had the most success with their legs.
Get your running backs in motion as well. I mean, they seem like they're pretty good when you're playing that RPO.
Would you go, RPO and maybe even a jet sweep type if you get the wide receivers to
or
the
pull
edge.
him to a slot. Like Archibald can, without a doubt, play the slot. You know what I mean?
It looks like the defense is just standing almost still. They're just waiting for the defensive line to get to the quarterback.
Well, now they're in a third down.
Very, very basic defense. Good point, Emery. It's going to be a third down and 15. Johnson looking to his right side. Hits his receiver. Spin move and has just enough on the reception there.
Wow.
Number 84, Alex Sardi, the lone touchdown.
And the big reason for that clean pass was the pocket. Good protection, a lot of time for Johnson to stand around and check through his progressions, something we haven't seen a lot of today from this line.
Yeah, he's able to get his receivers open. It allowed him to have their routes develop as opposed to these receivers the receivers weren't able to get open previously to that single play right there.
And that's a correction. What I meant to say was Alex Sardi, the lone touchdown player for the Moore Park Raiders. Johnson's going to throw over to the right side. It's going to be up in the air. Unfortunately, Wesley Anusium on that one, who leads the team coming into this game with 7 broken passes on the year. Pass deflections, I should say, pardon me, coming in.
Passes are the most dangerous because when it's tipped up in the air, it's the easiest interception a defender can make.
Yep. It's not coming in with quite the zip that quarterbacks usually put on a
Yeah,
football.
well.
So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10, ball at the 36-yard line. 6 minutes and 2 seconds remaining here. It's going to be off the hands of Eddie Mbata, someone that we haven't talked about tonight because we haven't seen him in the game very often. Without a doubt, the largest and potentially the fastest overall running back for the Raiders. He's listed at 6'3", 220, and he's originally from the Netherlands, which is a pretty exciting fact about Eddie Mbata. But when that guy gets space, you got to watch out for him. He actually started last season as a tight end and has transitioned now to a running back.
Well, and the reason for him being in this game, at least in my opinion, is the time and score. I mean, we can't speculate on the severity of the injury, but I wouldn't have seen him in this game if it was much closer.
But I mean, he suited up, so you had the intention, as that's going to be another sack for Johnson. He had the intention of playing tonight. I mean, we saw him warming up, so I think that he was, without a doubt, in his mind knew he would probably get some snaps. There's going to be a flag
There
though.
you go. That'll do it. Attaboy. That's how you get a penalty called immediately for taunting. And Wes Anzanium.
Wesley Anusium.
Yeah, Anusium. Good job. Good job. If you want to see a 4th down attempt here, this is how you get one.
And if you're Ventura, you need to stay composed here.
Well, I
You're
know
up
Wesley.
34-7. This is not something where getting these types of penalties will benefit your team. It will also infuriate your coaching staff.
Well, I know Wesley personally, actually a good friend of mine, and Wesley definitely likes to job, but he's got to keep it under control if he wants his team to not feel the wrath of those penalties. It's going to be a fresh set of downs. It's going to be a 1st down ball on the 45-yard line. And another flag as Bata gets the carry. They are going to blow a whistle before the play can continue.
And I'm not necessarily seeing a true game plan from the Raiders.
It seems, it seems
very
very.
disjointed.
It's also a little redundant. I mean, they're just kind of, maybe not redundant actually, but very basic.
I think that's actually
accurate.
We'll pass it on this play. We'll run it on this play. We'll pass it on this play.
It seems very, very
not methodical.
Applesauce and just kind of
applesauce.
just
What?
Hey, I like applesauce. So
applesauce.
What's up with
Throw
the
it
hate
out
on
there.
applesauce?
I don't. I mean, I'm a fan, but I've never heard that. That's going to be a 1st down and 5. Ball on the 50-yard line here. Johnson in the backfield with Bata once again. Maybe potential protection. He's going to fake the handoff, throw it to Dylan Lee, who's going to get tackled by almost his own player as the Ventura Pirates on that one, number 10 for the defense, came in there and just hit his own defender, receiver into him. That was Cooper Jalen. Thank you.
He was getting picked up on a block, and he just manhandled the receiver that he had and
into
threw him
the other
right
receiver.
Right over to the man with the ball.
Dylan Lee.
There's one adage of staying behind your blockers is another one of falling on them.
Being out directly on top of them,
So that's going to be a 2nd down and 2. Ball on the 47-yard line going in. Sardi's going to motion across. Johnson once again gets a snap, feels the pressure, kind of rolls out to his left, cuts back before he's tackled. Just enough to look to be a 1st down. Does look like he's going to have the 1st down and then some.
Well, he just got
They're
tackled
going to,
and landed hard on his head.
They're going to mark that ball
At the
enough
44.
for 1st down. Yeah, potentially.
1st down.
They're
Clock is
moving
at
the
4:18, moving down. So that's going to start becoming a factor really quick here if the Raiders want to make a
Well,
stand.
and now the clock is going to stop. There's an injury.
Yeah.
With that being said, we do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors here, starting with UCLA Health, a proud sponsor of Moore Park College Athletics with neighborhood offices in Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, and Westlake Village. The very best care is now closer to you. UCLA Health, it begins with you. Pegasus Transit, we are the answer to your transportation needs. In-N-Out Burger, freshness you can taste. Simi Valley Auto Center, proud sponsor of Moorpark College Athletics, and actually our game sponsor for tonight. DCH Lexus of Oxnard, proudly supporting education in Moorpark College. Football, Lexus, experience amazing. Now it is great to see that player getting back on his own feet, as that was number 58 who came down with the injury for the Pirates, that being John Cervantes.
Yeah. A defensive lineman, excuse me.
Right.
Well, they're starting to run out of defensive linemen over there because they already lost one of them. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Darius Johnson early
correct.
on, and he has yet to return, and then that's the second one.
You know what? Let me explain my point on applesauce. just
Oh
a
wait,
little
let's
bit
get to it.
more.
I really want you to elaborate. So let's go after this play,
I'm
Justin.
coming up with a counter argument after this play
Okay.
as well, just so you know.
Just
Hey, I have
in
debate
case-
class. You guys don't
in
even
case
know.
people were
You don't even know.
confused.
And first down 10, ball on the 44-yard line. Johnson once again forced to roll to the left side, but able to hit Dylan Lee, keep both feet in bounds. Nice heads-up play to make sure he got both feet down before stepping out.
And that's the offense that Moorpark needs to keep running. You know, it's keeping the play fast. Like I said earlier, the defense of Ventura has been looking slow because they've been expecting that the coverage, at least from the defensive line, is going to be very high pressure on the quarterback, and he's not going to make the throws that he needs
Right.
to. So you got to find a way to get the football outside of the pocket, get receivers in motion, and allow something to happen downfield and give your quarterback time to throw the football.
Right.
So my point on applesauce,
Yes, applesauce.
is and we'll get
Hold on, after this play, 3:16 remaining in the third quarter here. Johnson with Archibald in the backfield first time on this drive. Keeps it himself, cuts to the left side, down at the 25 before he goes out at about the 22-yard line.
No, there's going to be a
is
hold.
another flag on the
and
play.
Johnson
Looks
is
to be a hold.
unhappy.
That's
They
going to be a
finally
hold.
got some offensive rhythm, and he's
Oh, that's just some peanut butter and jelly right there, Justin.
Okay, applesauce,
Yeah,
go
let's
for
hear
it.
it. Go for it. Let's hear
okay.
it.
So applesauce, meaning that the applesauce when it's in that can, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't really move. There's you know a little bit of jiggling going on with it, almost like
Okay.
Jello, but it
Okay.
doesn't break apart.
Okay.
So it's a negative.
So
Okay.
yeah, what I mean by that is that this offense has no movement. There's no.
Out of
flow.
curiosity,
Applesauce
and
moves,
I know
though.
you hate applesauce.
I don't hate it.
I know you
But-
hate it. Have you ever even
Tried it.
eaten a pierogi without applesauce or sour cream?
What's a pierogi?
Oh,
That's the next
man.
Yeah,
question.
Oh.
that's
Figure
more like
think-
vodka for me. It's a vodka
oh,
for me.
vodkas are great.
Oh
Yeah,
my
same,
God, why are
same
we
thing.
talking
One's
about
Polish, the
food?
other one's man.
So we got 2:42 remaining in the third quarter. Johnson once again is going to throw it deep. Has Reese in the end zone. Can he get there? Just out of the reach of his
There's
arms.
flags,
There is a
though.
flag down at the 15-yard line, though.
Holding on the defense.
And Smith, it was just out of the great effort as well.
And you know what? He actually he was there, but his hand kind of just missed before the ball was there. But he had the timing down. Just put his hand out a little bit too early.
He's got to come down with that. I mean,
I know I said holding there. Let me rephrase what I mean. It was pass interference because the defensive back was holding on to the wide receiver, restricting him from continuing to run.
Got you. Thank you for clarifying.
Yes. Okay, so a pierogi is basically like a it's a potato knish, but like it's even better than that because it's it's Polish cuisine. It's potato and cheese inside of this like really delicious pasta. It's just it's so great.
We're going in. I love this. This is a good broadcast right here. Emery, I love
We
that
have
you
our
bring,
priorities
You're bringing
right.
the food. You're bringing the food in on this. It's going to be a first down and 10 ball on the 20-yard line. Archibald's motion out to the left side. He has Archibald open. One man to beat. Does he come back for it? Just off the hands. Great defense right there by the secondary.
and it appeared to me that the defender got there a little early.
He did, yeah. He
Kinda-
was there before.
and Johnson took a second before he realized that Archibald was open. And otherwise, if you would have saw him a little bit earlier, he would have been okay.
Oh my God. Well, I have just cracked up.
No, ineligible
Ineligible receiver against Archibald, you think?
No. It's an offensive lineman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That
ineligible
means-
receiver.
that
Thank
means
you.
at least
Yeah.
5 yards
Archibald,
downfield.
he
I don't
is
know
a
why.
receiver.
That's what I was saying. I was confused on that.
Unless
5
he had
yards
stepped
downfield.
out of bounds for some reason.
Right.
It's at least 5 yards downfield, right? If it's an ineligible.
Yeah,
receiver
it would
downfield?
be he has held a block or moved himself downfield enough to the point of which when the football is released, the referee deems him 5 yards. 5
Right,
yards.
5
Remember,
right.
that's with quotations because
It's very subjective.
Johnson over
Yeah.
the middle to Reese. Bounces off with the spin move, and he's going to go down, but not before picking up a nice couple of yards there. I think Reese Smith is one of the most underrated receivers here for the Moore Park Raiders. I mean, he has that deep threat ability. He has that height advantage over most. 6'2", relatively tall at this level.
And man, that kid can catch.
Yeah, right, definitely.
He's
so,
actually been one of their most solid receivers.
right, but I just don't think that he gets the ball enough,
Right.
or as much as that Moore Park would maybe even like to get him.
Well, it's been hard. They've been playing really tight defense around
Right.
him the entire night, and the corners haven't given him a lot of room. It's only 5 yards right now, and you're going to watch. He's going to play right into the press here.
Johnson's trying to take it himself.
Has the first down.
And you're going to want to score before the end of the quarter here.
They have a chance, right? Johnson a little bit limping on that one. A little bit of a limp. Might have felt something.
It's to me it's 4-down territory.
Oh, it goes without saying. Yeah, I mean, down by, down by 27.
Down inside the 20, you're down
by 27. Yeah.
by more than 3 scores.
27. Just in case you didn't know, 27.
27.
It's all right. I'm not good at math anyway. Let me have this. So Lee's going to motion across. Johnson's going to look over to the backside, just over the hands of Reese. But once again, that's another flag, and he knows it. I think that's a heads-up play by Johnson. I think that he actually, in the back of his mind, knew he might most likely not come down with that ball, but just, kind of throwing himself into that foul.
It's one of those situations is when the receiver starts to cut across the field, the defensive back, if he's beat and he knows he's beat because the receiver's made a good play, he's going to rather hold on to the player. And they're going to say defensive pass interference, and that's primarily because he was trying to make up space and prevent 6 points from being on the board. I'd rather take the hold than the 6 points.
Of course, right, because the points aren't guaranteed with the hold.
Absolutely.
And the ball was on the 3 because obviously you can't get another 15 yards here, so they'll put the ball at the spot of the foul.
Right.
In this case.
I think they're just going to go Archibald right up the middle.
Nope.
So he's going to take it. If he can get to the outside, he's got it. That's why they have him in there. That's a touchdown, Raiders. Isaiah Johnson. That's the 4th or 5th time that we've seen him do that this year, and it's most of the time it is undesigned. He feels the pressure. He has that it factor. Justin, you and I were talking about who would get the start tonight, Trey Johnson or Isaiah Johnson.
Just like a pierogi with potato and cheese and applesauce on top, and that applesauce is the defensive Ventura on that play. Boom.
Boom, baby, pierogi.
And now it works, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Is correct.
I'm calling that a PB&J. I'm calling that a PB&J.
Well, I have the J, P, and B in my name.
The J.
He does.
Justin Philip Borsis, to be
oh,
exact.
goodness gracious.
So I will take credit
for that. We got dad jokes tonight.
Out of curiosity,
we got food tonight.
What kind of bread is that PB&J being made on?
White only. Come on.
Well.
No crust, Uncrustables.
No.
What? Oh.
That's going to go.
Kala would be great.
That's going to go.
Actually.
Moore Park's going to cut the lead down as they're down by just 20 now, as the score is 34-14 with just under 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Wow, pierogies, applesauce, PB&J.
Squaw bread.
Squaw bread.
That's what I like my PB&J.
I don't know. I don't know what.
All right, we have a football game.
All right,
here.
let's go. So, continuing. We're going to thank a couple more of our sponsors tonight, starting with PennyMac. Let us tackle all your mortgage needs. PennyMac, the lender you can call home. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Southern California Life, powered for 125 years. Local number 47 is a proud supporter of the Moore Park College Raiders. DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. Corner Bakery Cafe, Simi Valley Town, and located in the Simi Valley Town Center. Proud to support Moore Park College athletics, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering. And Matera Design Consultant. For all your design, layout, and production needs, contact Vince Matera at vmateraearthlink.net. Matera Design Consultant.
I come from 3 generations of union electricians out of the IBEW Local 11.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's a family background.
That is a fun fact.
I, as well, am an electrician.
There we go. All right, it's going to be a pooch kick. That
looked
to be, they're lucky to hold on to that one. That's number 20.
Chip shot.
Right, that's number 21 once again. Chuck Wick, who's been the primary receiver of the second half, probably largely because of the score being the way it is. I mean, we haven't really seen Fargus that much in the second half, but lucky he held on to that.
Oh, wow, and the dab. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but kicker number 87, Carson Gabrick. He just go ahead and hit him with the dab on his way off the field.
We see that more often than you think.
Oh.
I was going to say it was important for Moore Park to score before the end of that quarter.
It was.
Scoring. What about the dab?
So it's going to be a 1st and 10 ball on the 35-yard line. And it's going to be a handoff once again to Wick. Pardon me, that is going to be Vargas. as he breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle. Ivory Jackson trying to come through with the strip sack. I mean, the strip fumble, pardon me. But Vargas taking that ball down the field. There is an injured player on the field. That's number 26, Dante Gibbons, unfortunately.
A name we've called a lot
tonight.
today.
Well, I will say this, Emery. This is our first broadcast together with you on it, but I have never talked about so much food on this broadcast in a 5-minute span in my life.
Hey, you know, we like to keep it fun.
Let me just say, I've had so much fun.
I like that. Oh my
I have
God.
had so much fun
Justin, stop.
with the two of you.
Oh,
Laughing.
man. It's a good time. I love this. I mean,
It's important to
we
note
want to
even in
thank, if
34
we're going to
minutes-
get all deep like this, yeah, I mean, this is a great broadcast, Moore Park College. Want to thank Vance, Vexo, Vance, Manny Kids, Vern Vexo, Michael Grimes, everyone that makes this broadcast possible, along with Ryan Catching, who's not here.
The entire FTVM department.
There we go.
over at
There we
Moore Park
go. Yeah,
College.
we'll save the list. You know, I'm really thankful because this job, I've been doing it for 3 years now, and it's pretty incredible, the friendships I've made, and it wouldn't be possible without any of that. So with that being said, we're going to get back into the seriousness of the game. Ball on the 45-yard line. Ewan's going to go ahead and hit his receiver on the left side, who's going to somehow stay on his feet, keep moving, and before he's shoved down by about 5 Raiders. And that's going to be a reception of about 5 yards on the 40-yard line, as that's going to finish out the third quarter now.
Yeah, you want to see why that was such a solid drive right there. You have an offensive lineman from Ventura getting involved, okay? An offensive lineman getting involved with a receiver on the far sideline of the field, okay? What
So
is
the right tackle or
what
something?
is Christian Malupe doing on that side of the field? Okay, he's running all the way across the pole block,
Blocking,
and that's
maybe?
why he was able to gain 7 yards on that.
Right.
And that shows
Giving 'em
the
9.
work ethic and the training that these guys have gone under. Ventura is notorious for their winning records and their tradition and their championships, something they've had for several years. And that type of play is why they've won those titles.
And that's
I mean,
absolutely correct.
Yes.
And it's so hard to get the ball rolling, but once, winning really does solve everything. So once, you start winning, I feel like that confidence just becomes instilled. Ventura understands that they will probably walk away with the victory tonight. But on top of that, the players just want to play that much harder. They just want to solidify their reputation of being, the big bad Pirates in the county. And, Moore Park, on the other hand, just with one win and, really struggling these last couple of years to even have – I mean, they haven't had a winning record in quite some time.
They are 2 and
but that
14 in their
yeah,
last
exactly.
season.
With that record, it also, it really is detrimental to your mentality of how you look at the game being down. I mean, I can only imagine they have to be getting sick of losing constantly, and especially to their rivals. So getting back to the point, we're talking about that tackle or guard being on the opposite side of the field, they want to reinstill in the Moore Park Raiders' brains, hey, we're not going anywhere, and this is why we're better than you. So it becomes that dog mentality that you build over time with winning that Moore Park hasn't yet really experienced.
Well, and if you're Ventura, you're going to want to run the football.
Well, yeah, I mean,
entire
up by
quarter.
20,
I mean, at
up
this
by 20, yeah. But look to see some passes just because of the rivalry. It is going to be a handoff, though, to Vargas. He's going to be tackled
But also on
by
defense,
Daniel Henderson
don't
on
get
that one.
complacent and then let Moore Park march down the field. You still got 15
Right.
minutes. to
No, of
play.
course, you have to, keep the gas on them. But I'm saying that, yeah, they'll run the ball a little bit, but look for some passes as well, especially being rivalries. I mean, they do that. Once again, Vargas with the handoff. Stopped after just a gain of 2 or 3 on this. Now, Emery, let me ask you this. You've been doing a lot of broadcasting for different companies. We actually got to officially meet you last week when we went to College of the Canyons. How has it been being back at Moore Park?
Oh, man.
It's been a while. It's been years because I've never worked
been
with
a
you, and I've
couple
been doing
years,
it for 3.
It's amazing to see, the things that were started way back when.
Right, and how they've transpired.
Yeah, how they've transpired. I mean, 5 years ago, it doesn't seem like a long time, but it
Right.
really was.
Right.
To see how all that hard work and dedication is created an atmosphere where you guys can sit here and practice this work every
Right.
single day.
Yeah, we're, that run right there, great run by Chuck Wick, gain of over 20. And yeah, I mean, I think I can only speak on behalf of me, but I can speak on behalf of Ryan and Justin too. We're so thankful for this opportunity that you helped set up because we're able to continue to do this. You know what I mean? We came in lucky enough to not have to worry about anything as far as the situation.
The production value.
Yeah, right. We was already set up before us. So thanks for dealing with all of that
Well, you know,
shenanigans.
that was it was partially because I was selfish and I wanted to have it for myself,
Right.
Let alone you guys. But
I love
you know,
that.
I really do. You know, I love the fact that you guys are buying into it as much as I did.
Right.
And the cool thing about junior college is, as a young baseball player out of high school, I wasn't allotted the opportunity to go play at the 4-year level because of stupid decisions I made as a high schooler in
Right.
the classroom. And what that eventually did is it allowed me to find my passion at a college and actually create something out of nothing and be able to do something that I've always wanted to do, which is be a commentator. And
Right.
it's, you know, that's the best part about this level. You see all these kids out on this football field, they're given an opportunity now to go play football at the next level.
Right.
In other ways, they might not have ever had that opportunity because of certain situations that they're in. And that's the best part about this whole thing. And it's just wonderful that Moorpark College has really wrapped its arms around, you know, how can we help students out? And that it
Right.
gives you guys opportunities to really grow in your futures as either journalists or broadcasters. Or
Wick's going
to
to go up the middle for a touchdown as they're going to go up 40-14. But to continue off your point, there is a flag on the play. We'll see if this touchdown holds. To go off your point that you're talking about, Emery, yeah, I mean, it is a great school. It's a great opportunity. But as well, I mean, just it's kind of a blessing in disguise. You talked about, for whatever reason, decisions that you made didn't allow you to go to a 4-year. But think about that. If you do go straight to 4-year, maybe this never exists. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Maybe if I go to a 4-year instead of coming here, maybe I don't ever, you know, join this program. You know, you can go down the list with Ryan, Justin as well. So it's really, that play is going to hold. That's going to be a touchdown. But after there's unnecessary roughness against the Raiders, that'll be enforced on the kickoff, of course.
I remember last year when the three of us were.
You mean Ryan,
involved,
correct?
Yeah, when we were starting, I literally, I'm now a sophomore, but it was my freshman year and it was orientation, and I literally, and Ryan will tell you this, I sprinted from one of the orientation booths to find him, to understand what this was and how I can get involved, because it was like, I want to do this. Can you add a third member to
And
the
as
team?
fate would have it,
And
me and Ryan had a class together. Theater,
Yeah,
MO1.
theater.
Shouts
Yes, we
out
did.
Theater. I forgot our professor's name, but shout her out.
Kalei Rastana, if
There
you
you
are
go.
listening or watching.
Thank
Hi.
you. Yeah, and then that really helped build the chemistry for the three of us, seeing each other twice a week, every week. But with that being said, the score is going to go up 41-14 as the Pirates look to seal the deal here. There is 12 minutes and 50 seconds left. Miracles can happen, but it's going to take a lot for Moorpark to pull this one out of the bag.
I see Ventura winning this game handily,
Yep.
especially with regards to the way Moorpark's offense is played. Very inconsistent, no real rhythm. We
Right.
really don't even know what their game plan
Which
is.
is-
1 minute they're mixing in a run, and the next minute they're trying to throw it 30 yards downfield, and you don't know.
Which has really hurt the defense in that.
Yeah.
You know, when you put that much pressure on your defense to try and make defensive plays, you know, they were on the field so much in the first half, it was very difficult for them to create at least some sort of defensive stand.
Well, and I think that's what makes their defensive stats so misleading, because they've been on the field so much.
Yeah.
You can make a case that if there was more scoring from the offense, maybe they would only give up 20 points a
Longer
game as
drives.
opposed to 40.
You get a lot of 3 and outs, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, man, I barely had a chance to sit down and catch my breath, let alone get a sip of water. And I'm back out on the field against one of the best football teams in the state of California.
Well, and most
Here
of
you
it
go.
has to do with turnovers.
Yeah.
not
Oh,
even
yeah.
Scores, short field.
And remember, that was their big issue against College of the Canyons, was
Yes.
they kept turning the football over in really bad situations. And you eliminate that, then you have a really interesting football game.
Mexicative in to kick it off.
And this is the time where you want to, I was going to say you want to pin them inside the 5 with a field position like that, but I think he just wants to show off his legs. He kicks it past the game clock.
Well, he was
The play
kicking
clock.
from the 50-yard line because of the unsportsmanlike
No, of course.
conduct penalty. So I completely agree with you. Why not give it a chip shot and try
Yeah.
to pin him within
Right.
the 5 or on the goal line even?
So if you're Moorpark, to me, I actually think would start getting your second string or maybe even third string guys in the game.
Right.
You want to get those
Yeah,
guys
and I
that
think that's-
normally don't see the playing time now
Right.
in this contest with the score and time we have.
Right.
Hey, you
Get
still
them
got
the
games
reps.
against East Los Angeles College coming up here. And
Long Beach is our next
Bakersfield,
one.
I
Long
believe.
Beach on the road next week. That'll be exciting.
Yep.
Then you got
Let me look. I
back to
have
back.
the
We got 2
schedule here.
back-to-back games. You got Bakersfield here at home, and then we finished with
Yes,
East LA for our
Bakersfield
last
and
game.
then East LA.
It's a
So-
and not that I'm wishing that you'd have to climb up the
The
stairs
stairs?
at Bakersfield, but that is a great atmosphere for a football
Oh,
game.
we did it last year.
Yeah.
For those that do not know, and I don't know if I mentioned this yet, I do have a physical disability that makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, he doesn't
to
stop
get
talking.
to-
It's horrible.
Well, I compensate, my friend. It's called modifying.
There you go.
No, but yeah. So those stairs will make it a little bit.
Yeah, the
difficult,
Bakersfield Stadium. I mean,
I've been
the
to Bakersfield.
Veterans
It's-
Memorial
yes.
Stadium. Be aware.
We were at the top.
There are
the year
2 tiers
before.
in a press box
Johnson
that's also
dropping
2
back,
stories.
going deep. Reese is tripped up.
Was he tripped up by his own feet or
He's
the
looking
feet
for a
of the
flag. He's
defender?
not going to get one.
I think he was tripped up by the feet of the defender. there.
Yep.
Or the I'm sorry.
Covered
his
by
own feet.
Wesley and Nusium on that one. Middle name is
Incidental
actually
contact.
Chukuma, and I know he wanted me to say that on the broadcast. So Chukuma, great play on that. That is his tribal name. Swear, that's a real story. Wesley and Nusium, Chukuma.
12:40 here in the fourth.
One-
Again,
one
next
thing-
week.
One thing that's pretty exciting, sorry to cut you off, Justin, and both you guys can go in on this as well, but watching people that you've gone to school with play, I mean, I know, Emery, you graduated a couple years ago, so you might not see it anymore, but Johnson's going to roll out in the pocket and fall down after he gets a gain of 5 or 6. But seeing not only people you know, but your friends as well, I mean, I am rather good friends with number 7 there for the Pirates, Wesley and Nusium, as long as Daniel Henderson, number 44 for the Raiders. So it's always pretty neat to be able to cover your friends and, you know, people that you've grown up with, watch them play football. It's pretty incredible.
One of my best friends, his name is Ryan Wilmore. He was a wide receiver for Moore Park when I was going to school here. He's number 83.
Right.
Famous for a one-handed catch against not only Ventura, but
That's going to be a
Bakersfield
sack.
College.
'Cause he's going to go down there on a 4th down. Continue, sorry, Emery.
I mean, last
Gonna be
week
turnover
we
on
spoke
downs.
about it on the broadcast at COC. One of the players for COC is actually my neighbor. Was my neighbor,
Right.
and I'm not. I personally wasn't sure if he received any playing time in that game, but just to see him, you know, represented on the roster was a big deal. So.
Yep. So there's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct call against the Ventura Pirates going against number 20, Calvin Williams.
So the football will be spotted on the 40-yard line. So
correct.
Not nearly as great as they had it marked up on the 25. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and you might hate this as a true fact, but Ventura is going to try to run the score up.
That's what I was
Yes,
trying
they
to
are.
allude to, and I said that
and you
it's
know
a
what?
rivalry.
It is a valid point because, as we've stated, this is a rivalry game, and you want bragging rights as big as you can get it. And that is why they're going to try and score here. If you want to say you can beat him 61-14, 70-14, if you can get another 30 even.
So it's going to be a first down 10 on the 40-yard line going in. Once again, cutback spin move. Some great vision, I mean, by all of these skill players for the Ventura Pirates, but on that play in particular, that was number 2, Chris Atkins. Not only are they quick, but they're so elusive. I mean, how many times have we seen a Ventura Pirate who has the ball in possession with a spin move or a cutback? And that's one reason why they're so successful, because of how they can continue to move the ball.
Well, and Ventura is famous for this. They recruit really well out of state. It's kind of hard to imagine how they get so many out-of-state guys to come play at their college. But,
right.
you know, success will be represented by really good recruiting numbers, and they do a very good job of that. Year after year, if you look at their roster, not only do they get a lot of guys from California, but if I can just go down here and go, Texas, Ohio, Georgia, Augusta, Georgia, Santa Maria, Florida. Here we go. Florida, Colorado. I mean, New
Kentucky.
Mexico, Arizona, Washington, Colorado. I mean, that's a roster that's comprised halfway
right.
From guys who are not from this state, and that's a lot to do with the fact that they have great connections for a lot of four-year schools who end up not keeping a lot of kids, and so they end up picking a lot of four-year players for a discounted rate.
I mean, could it also be the area in which the college is located in terms of
Ventura's a great area if you want to go hang out in Ventura, but
right.
the point being is they're a very good football team
Right.
year after year, and a
the
lot of players
pedigree
want to go
allows
play
for
there.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Maldonado back in the game here. Number 14 for the Pirates on the carry once again, Juan Gatton, who actually came into this game. Juan Gatson came into this game the leading rusher for the Pirates. Emery, you might know this a little bit better than we might. Is there a rule for amount of out-of-state kids you can recruit for a junior college?
Not in the California Community College Athletic
I
Association.
know that in Last Chance U, it's like 20 or something, right?
It
Or
depends. It depends on the state.
Okay.
For instance, they started their first year, I believe, in Mississippi for Last Chance U.
Okay. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
and the state rule there is yes, it's 20. But in California, it's kind of like one of those
limitless.
things that you just get as many good players as you can, put them on a roster, and that's good to go.
But
the one school that's really famous for doing that, and they don't have a football program anymore, is Taft College up in the San Joaquin Valley.
Right.
They have a baseball team still, and if you ever look at their baseball team during their batting practice, they have logos of the state that each player is represented from on the backs of their jerseys. And
Oh, wow.
It's mostly Nevada, Oregon, Arizona, and
Like
California.
Pac-12 schools.
Yeah,
Pac-12
Pac-12 schools, and that's where they get a lot of their players from.
Right.
Back in the day, their football team used to be the exact same way.
Second and 70s. He's going to run it in for an easy touchdown. As he had talked about, Emory, they are looking to run up the score as they're going to go up 47-14 with just 9:24 remaining
Important
in
to
the
note-
ball game. That was Chuck Wick once again.
Important to note that last year's final was 62-7 win for Ventura, so they look to at least match that score.
Right. The thing that was a little bit, I mean, you could make a little bit of an argument for was the first half alone was 55-0. Now,
Yeah.
Drew Mathis, arguably the best player on the team last year, who now plays at Oregon on a full scholarship. He actually was ejected in the first quarter of that game, so losing him was a big blow, but obviously he's not the entire team. But the second half of the game, it was 62-7. As I just said, it was 55-0 first half. So the second half was a lot more of an even ball game. I know a large part of it has to go with, as bad as it's your rival, I think that Ventura had some sort of respect for Moore Park, not wanting to completely demolish when they were already
there's
up
no
50.
respect. There's
They're-
no
okay,
respect.
well, I don't know. I just think they only
when
scored
you-
7 in the second half.
Yeah.
And the question people might ask, and it's a valid one, should there be respect in a rivalry matchup in terms of the I mean, yes, sportsmanship's in terms of if players get hurt, you never ever
Yeah.
want to see that, or even make fun of or appreciate a player getting hurt. That is not the way you want to go about it. But in terms of the competitive nature,
Yeah, I get you.
There's
Yeah, I
no
mean, I know
love
that we
lost
played
there.
our rivals. We'd always want to,
yeah,
do
beat 'em up
yeah, as bad as you
between
can.
fans.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
when you-
bigger rivalry in recent years, and now Fullerton College is not allowed to go to any state championships because of some issues with their
Right,
recruiting and
correct.
all that as of late. But previous to that, it was actually the big rivalry was Ventura versus Fullerton every
Fullerton.
single year because they would see each other in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
And just a quick point, if you guys do not know online, Fullerton has been the recipient of many victories, and
Yes.
Ventura has been the recipient of many very close losses, and there is a lot of salt between those two teams, but there is a mutual respect between those organizations primarily because they both know that each other are very good and very skilled.
Archibald's going to, pardon me, not
That's
Archibald, but
Lee.
he's going to lead the block for Lee as he's going to go down to about the 42-yard line.
Well, and you talk about that Fullerton rivalry that you spoke of. The competitiveness is still alive and well. Ventura only beat Fullerton by 1 point, 48-47 this year.
They
So-
still have a lot of pride to play for, regardless of not being able to make it to the state championship or playoffs.
And I kind of want to circle back to what you're talking about, Emory, about recruiting out of state. I think a large part of recruiting, yes, it does take the recruiting staff, but in order to recruit, you have to have something to show for it.
Absolutely.
So it really starts with your in-community, your county, your guys that are Moore Park, Ventura, Oxnard, Thousand Oaks.
And I was-
Recruiting from there, you have to build a couple successful seasons to tell a kid, hey, you want to come halfway across the country, here's why you should do it.
And I was going to ask you, Emory, just as your opinion, obviously you don't know the coach's mind, but would you want more in-state than out-of-state guys?
That's going to be intercepted by number 7, Wesley Anusium, as he has no one to beat. Chukuma for the touchdown. Wesley Anusium taking it back to the house. 8 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. Wesley Chukuma Anusium on the pick 6.
Is that the first pick of the game?
I don't know, but I know he's going crazy
No,
right
but
now.
I believe we've had a pick in the first half.
We've had a couple picks.
But
To answer your question, yes and no. It depends on whether or not you have a good group of players who have played with each other in years past. And in the case of Ventura, now here's the interesting part about Ventura. You'll look at their roster and you'll say, wow, they got a lot of out-of-state kids. But you also look at their high schools from the kids who are from California. They're primarily all from the Ventura area.
Okay.
And they recruit a lot from, you got Carpinteria, you got Oxnard, you got Oxnard, you got Oxnard, you got Simi Valley, close enough. St. Bonaventure, St. Joseph.
So they do go a lot of places within.
Yeah, you get a lot of kids who are really close and are pretty familiar with each other, so that really helps out as well. But if you look at schools like Fullerton, yeah, they just got in trouble for it. But if you look at schools like Fullerton, they've gone the complete other way. They like to get as many players from out of state as possible.
And I guess in some ways it can depend on philosophy and the
Yeah.
coaching staff and
Yeah.
what you want to bring, the culture you want to bring in.
And at junior college, you have 2 years.
Yeah.
Remember,
so
you
it's
have
a high
two-
turnover.
Yeah,
as well.
you have 2 years to get these kids integrated and then taught your entire philosophy, as well as, bought into the entire process.
Well,
and that's not a lot of time.
And then you got to get them, in many cases, especially for a program like Ventura, you got to get them ready to go to the next level because
Absolutely.
you've reached the pedigree to a point where they expect you to have them on your team so that you can go to the D1.
And that's
schools.
primarily from the educational level.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't recognize or understand it. These kids, they might have the athletic talent, but the academic side of things is really what is the big difference between high school and college, and that's where junior college, again, offers many opportunities for these kids to go play.
I mean, as far as the team, I know that overall Moore Park has struggled, in the last decade really with wins, but academically, if you're a player, if you're looking at a very individual perspective, you have no doubt in your mind that as long as you're starting, you can put up some decent film yourself. Lee's going to take this out to the left side before he's pushed out.
One of the top
They are
academic
number
records.
2 in the nation and junior colleges. So the academics are going to show for themselves. Your counselors, Coach Stewart made it a priority before everything else. And one thing that Moore Park should pride themselves on that has nothing to do with the field, but in this athletics, is that they're always the top team or one of the top teams with average grade point average for an overall team. I know last year they averaged over a 3.0 as a team. Now, I know that does not in any way, shape, or form transition onto the field, but that alone you have to pride yourself on because the ultimate job of a junior college is to get these kids to the next level. And as
that's
Emery
something
said,
Coach
you
Stewart
can't.
prides himself on.
Exactly. If you don't have the grades, you can't do it.
And that comes all the way from the top. I
Right.
mean, that not only is being played out by the coaching staff, but the athletic administration as well. Oh, my goodness.
And
Took a
and
lick
the
on that
president
one.
of the school and the professors. I mean, everybody involved is
Well,
bought into that
Vance Manakis,
idea.
he was a professor at Moore Park College. He was also the head athletic trainer for a long time until he moved into a athletic director role for the Moore Park College athletics department. And that he has instilled that academics, and even Howard Davis before him, have instilled that academics are the most important reason why most of these kids are here. And, I was told from a very early age, if you get good grades, we'll find time for you to play.
What a throw. They're going to say incomplete, though, on that one.
It did bounce on the turf before it hit the receiver's hands.
James' pass is incomplete.
8 minutes left. I mean, I don't. Obviously.
Into the game right now for the he's been in for the last couple of snaps. But number 12, Vince James, quarterback. It looks like Isaiah Johnson will be done. Haven't seen a single snap for Trey Johnson. Curious to see if they'll put him in the last couple minutes here as this time winds down. There's exactly 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Maybe it's just because we've been talking about all sorts of things but the game, but it feels like the clock hasn't really moved too much in the last 10 minutes. There's still,
That's because there's been like 4 scores in
Yeah.
the last 5 minutes,
Yeah.
or last
Yeah.
10 real minutes.
And a turnover as well, which.
Right. James looking to his left side, to his right side, has a guy open, but it's going to be underthrown.
2 underthrown passes by James. He was actually touted as a highly touted recruit for the quarterback position coming into the year. In fact, at one point, Nick, I believe you and I said we thought he might be the #1 option.
Vince
heading into
James?
this- Yes.
When we
coming
came to
into the
practice,
season.
yeah, we'd seen the way he was throwing the ball. He talked about, Coach
Again,
Stewart
that
said it was
just a
James.
personal,
Right.
Belief between
No,
the two
but
of us.
he had shown some signs of starter quality. It was Isaiah Johnson, Trey Johnson, and Vince James were the 3 that we were talking about. It's gonna be a quick throw, enough for a first down. As number 31 for the Moore Park Raiders on that reception, Zach Jones was able to pick up a couple yards. Zach Jones actually had a pretty phenomenal game last time Moore Park was at home against El Camino. He had, I remember on one particular drive, 3 different receptions. He laid a couple of nice hits in the special teams. So Zach Jones doesn't get as much playing time as he'd maybe like. But the way to earn it is even right now in these chump minutes, you have to do whatever you can to show to your coaches that you have that potential
to maybe start one day for them. James, once again, looking, throwing off to his right side. Once again to Jones on that quick little 5-yard out.
And I'm not exactly sure why they're throwing to the sidelines here.
I think they're just trying to
receiver, and I think
down
they
by-
have a pretty good relationship going back and forth at the moment. I mean, it seems like they've had a couple really good pass attempts and receptions
At this
there.
point, it's just about establishing chemistry with a new QB.
Yeah. So if you can find a rhythm, that's always the best way to go about it.
So it's going to be a 2nd down and 4. Looks to his left, throws to his right.
sidearm.
Once again, it's going to be Jones, who has a spin move and is then shoved out.
James pass again completed to Jones.
James to Jones. Some chemistry there.
Oh, he just threw it around the offensive lineman with a sidearm toss.
Look at it. I mean, I have to give a shout out to number 46's hair. That's a lot of hair right there for a
Whoa.
football player right there.
Whoa.
I mean, you got to. Sometimes it can be actually detrimental with that much hair because you can actually see players get their hands wrapped up
One
in
of the
there.
best defensive linemen of all time played for the Steelers not too long ago.
Oh,
Polamalu.
Polamalu.
Yeah.
He had hair just like that.
Well, I was going to actually ask, that sidearm throw,
James looking, going to throw down the middle. Limpkin, when 10 receiver, didn't know if he wanted to go for it.
That-
Potentially heard footsteps as he knew he was in the middle of the field on that one.
that sidearm throw, was that almost like a Phillip Rivers type? Because he does
Yeah.
that a lot
Yeah.
Gunslinging
in San
Rivers?
Diego.
San Diego, really?
Or I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
They're in LA
We can go.
now.
If you got some
They're in
tickets
LA
for me in
now.
San Diego, I'll
They're
go.
the
forgot.
San Diego Chargers.
They don't have a fan base.
They're always the San Diego Chargers in my
Easy
brain.
there.
They're the Los Angeles Chargers now.
I believe they're sharing a stadium with the Rams at the moment.
No, the
No, they
Chargers,
have
they have their own. They have a
Yeah,
small stadium
they
in the
play
NFL.
at the Home Depot Center.
They play
Oh,
at the
no,
soccer
Got it.
stadium. They have like
Okay.
27,000
Got it.
seats.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for correcting me.
And whenever the Chiefs come to town, if my mind just is in
Emery's a
correct
Chiefs
status.
fan for everybody that
I
doesn't know.
have no idea.
Nice
how you guys
throw
would
right
figure
there
that
by
one out.
Cuevas as he breaks 2 tackles and is in for the touchdown. Raiders. Never too late to cut the lead down just a little bit.
They're fighting.
That's right. On his first drive of the game, Vince James hits Cuevas, number 15 for the Moore Park Raiders, on a nice strike. Cuevas able to break a couple tackles, and the score is now 55-20 with 5:57
Phillip
remaining.
Rivers. No, that's Patrick Mahomes right there.
Well,
Yeah, that's Brady, baby.
if he can
Oh,
show
soft
me,
spot.
if he can show me a 90-yard bomb,
yeah.
I can put him in Mahomes territory.
What if he dislocates his kneecap?
I thought it was pretty incredible. Have you seen Mahomes' throw over the stadium?
Over the
Yes,
stadium?
yes.
That was pretty intense.
Yes,
I thought I was photoshopped. I thought it was a meme. It was real. It
You
was-
know, I'm actually interested to see how the Chiefs do in the next couple of weeks because he's going to.
Well, you know
We
what's
got
pretty
Green
interesting.
Bay tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
they have Green Bay. You know what I'm also interested to see is how the Saints are now that Breeze is back. He's cleared to play on
That's right.
Sunday.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
the
his-
question is
yes.
Teddy Bridgewater your man, or obviously?
Kick
And
is
I-
down.
and
It's
I
going to be
believe-
blocked.
Oh, gosh.
Scoop and score potentially. It's going to be picked up, but he's going to be tripped up just shy. Number
Troy
6 that potentially could have had that right there. That's Kevin
Was
Ross.
that Troy Smith on the tackle? I saw a 10.
I've seen Troy Smith play special teams, and I've seen him be the wedge buster. So I
Yes.
know that they don't really look at Troy Smith as a quarterback. That's for sure.
At the moment, yeah.
Ventura 55, Raiders 20.
Ventura coach is smacking a window right now next to us in the press box. So
You're up by 35. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly sure why you'd be smacking a
just
window.
relax, dude.
Five.
You heard it here first on the live broadcast. Emery Johnson, just relax, dude.
Yeah.
Chill, bro.
It's not that serious.
I want to see Moore Park cut this lead down a little bit more. I mean, I think we all would like to see it, but let's be a little bit
I don't
more.
believe they're going to.
Let's be a little bit more intelligent. How would they do
Onside
it?
kick right here.
There
Let's
we
get
go.
it.
I don't believe.
Let's get it.
Onside
I
kick
don't
potential.
think that they would do that with this deficit. If they're going to want to score at least one more time,
Yeah, I
believe
think they
they'd
kick
have
out.
enough
I
time
think it would be.
to
I think it would
block.
be a very gutsy call to go ahead and onside kick it, just because if you don't get it, Ventura like, okay, you want to play this game, we're going to throw it deep on you. So, but at the same time, what do you have to lose? You're already down 35.
Basically.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
Ventura is setting up currently in an
Inside
onside
formation.
formation, so we'll see. I mean,
I don't believe they've had a successful one.
Oh, and it looks like he's absolutely going to go for it. As he's lined up for
said it
this
as a joke.
as an onside kick. It's going to be a pooch kick. But to potentially get
Oh.
down there in time.
That was a little
No.
bit of trouble, a little miscommunication between
Well,
two
you know,
people.
4 hands are better than 2.
And Ventura will take over 1st and 10
Well, at least it was not as eventful as my voice cracking.
Justin's oh yeah, Emery. I need to show you some footage of Justin's voice cracking
Surprise.
during excitement.
Onside kick recovery.
It sounds like a
Please
it
go
sounds like a
back and watch
chicken.
that archive
It sounds like a
moment.
chicken like screaming for the first time after it cracks the egg.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's, it's on National Geographic.
Savage, man. You just add that.
Yeah.
All right, then. I will
Okay.
choose to deepen and broaden my voice.
That's right. Time to start smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Oh,
and
God.
No, that's not my.
Cup of tea.
Well, you
Not
got to
my
get some
cup
sort
of
of
tea,
rasp
but-
going on.
So
first.
there's 5 minutes remaining here, 5:02 to be exact in the game. Ball is going to be placed here on the 33-yard line as
Do
the
they
Pirates
throw?
look to start their next drive.
No,
We
they
are-
will most definitely run the football
They're
for
gonna
the
run the
entire.
football?
Well, actually,
mean,
what am
'cause
I?
you-
I would
well,
not-
you-
I would
yeah,
not say that. You never
mean,
know.
You talked about how they want to run up the score. I don't.
Oh, so
Well, then
there's
now
actually
they've added
almost
another-
nearly another minute, so it's actually 5:51.
Oh my lord.
So that's another, to be exact, that's another 49 seconds of fun we get to have. Of just talking.
I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time.
I'm having a great time.
As the late Freddie Mercury said, like a
Rip.
tiger defying the laws of gravity right now.
I'm not too big on Queen. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more of a AC/DC kind of guy. Or,
Oh, you're hurting my.
or
Yeah,
something.
he just
my
said
heart
that.
There. Oh.
I did.
Every
Ow.
fan in this stadium right now should be getting ready to.
Fight me.
Okay. Oh.
It's getting,
Yeah, that
I will
hurts.
say this is the most layback,
Okay,
and I'm
so-
okay with it. It's the most
so what-
layback
so-
broadcast I've ever
So
done.
what about the
We talked
Beatles?
about so many different topics.
What's
What about
wrong
the
with
Beatles,
that?
then?
It's fun, dude. I like it. I'm just not used to it.
What is this, the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it is.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something
every
right now.
game is-
I'm
yeah.
not Al
Yeah,
Michaels.
give me some advice,
I'm not
actually.
Al Michaels, okay?
Do you have
And-
this much fun on other broadcasts, too?
Absolutely.
I think we're too tight, dude. All we talk about is football
well,
sometimes.
yeah.
Well, okay, look, I'm not taking any negatives for the broadcast. What we do, I'm really proud of, and how we go about is amazing. But I think that, yeah, maybe sometimes we loosen up in our own way. But like
Listen,
we've never
the
talked
score
about
is
peanut.
55-20 with 5:08
right.
counting down to
Yeah.
the football game. If I'm talking about football seriously right now, I would expect you to slap me.
Okay, copy that.
Here we go. I can go ahead and call the play-by-play right now.
All right,
So-
let's hear it. We're
Okay.
gonna pass Emery Johnson off to the play-by-play. I'll be
I'll
color.
take over.
I'll be color for this next play.
Dino Maldonado standing in the gun, looking back to his right, checking his coverage as he's got trips to the right, one to the left. As his running back standing to the left, he transitions back over to the right. That's Josh King checking in as running back. Goes ahead, hands it off. It's a run through the middle. Hops a man, and he's going to be hit and brought down after a gain of only, well, let's check that, 5 yards and a first down here for the Pirates.
That's
Moore
pretty
Park's-
good, actually. I like that. That's
Is
pretty
it-
good
is
for.
it-
I like
is it
that
my turn?
play-by-play though.
Is it my turn?
I'm trying to
Yeah.
match. All right, Justin, you go
Let's
next.
get Justin
By
in
the
here.
way, what about the Beatles? If you're not into
Oh, I
Queen-
love the Beatles.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. How do you not like the
Okay,
Beatles?
So this is this man's twisted psyche. He hates Queen.
Yeah.
Loves the Beatles. I just.
How do you hate Queen?
I don't.
I don't hate it.
All
I
right,
just said they're not
so
my cup of
now,
tea.
Now it's
Feeling the
second
hate
down.
right now, guys. Okay,
Gain
let me
of
hear
a
it.
couple on the play.
Piling it on.
There's the snap, and it's a run. No, it's an option play. And a bad read by the quarterback, and he is sacked
All
by
right, I'm
3
gonna-
Raiders.
I'm gonna do the most professional play-by-play ever. Now,
right,
that I listen
let's
to,
hear it. I'm
now
gonna
I
judge
listen
it.
to Emery. I'm gonna go
So-
be so serious right now.
For those that don't know, Ryan is unfortunately ill this week, but he has been keeping in touch with us throughout the week, and
All right.
he's
Ryan,
Here we go.
my
Hold on.
first intern, by
Let's
the way.
go. Let's get it. Here we go. Hold
Yep,
on.
Let's get it.
It's gonna be a 2nd down and 13 here. 3:30 on the clock. Maldonado looks at the play clock. Is he just going to let this wind down for a couple seconds before taking the snap? He's got a split set, 2 receivers on the right, 2 receivers on the left, 1 running back to the right. Going to go ahead and hand it off as he cuts back, takes a hit, moves his feet, and then he's going to be tackled for just a gain of 1 yard on the carry.
Yeah, Josiah King not able to get
Josiah.
any movement through that interior of the line, the defensive line of Moore Park standing pretty tall there. Only a 2-yard gain and a third down and
You got it.
12.
I feel like you have to I feel like you have to Joseph or Jose or something.
Jose, right?
You have to lower. I feel like you have to lower your voice. You just get more professional.
No, that's
Third
exactly what
Third
it is.
down and 12. It's
Third?
going to be a trips to the left. ISO receiver to the right side.
Oh.
Looks to be a neutral zone Zach fraction. It's going to be a free play. Maldonado's going to go deep. Sees a receiver, but it's going to be out of bounds. That's going to bring up a 4th down.
But it sounds like you're just recapping a game, right?
I know, huh?
You got to let it be more live than that.
Okay. I got you.
May I ask who your
I got
favorite
you.
sportscasters are?
I like Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth. I'm a big fan of Tony Romo. Is my favorite.
Oh, Tony Romo's great.
Dude, he's amazing. He's amazing
if
because
you
he's
guys
the most modern guy we have in the booth.
If you want to listen to a great radio commentator, and I'm not asking you to subscribe to Chiefs football, but listen.
He's trying to get us on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Don't
right.
give
On
in.
the bandwagon. I've been a fan since
No,
Trent
you're
Green
trying to
was
get
the
us on the
quarterback.
bandwagon. Yeah.
That's true.
You have roots. We
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. 2:42 remaining in this game for our viewers at home. Sorry, continue.
Mitch Holthus is the radio commentator for Kansas
Mitch
City.
Holthus.
He does a great job year after year.
Podcast, or I mean, not podcast, radio, just like sports talk?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
well, he's not a sports talk. No, I'm talking like play-by-play commentator. He does radio.
Right.
He used to do it with the great Lenny Dawson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lenny Dawson, didn't he play for the Chiefs?
Yeah, he played for the Chiefs for their
kicker or wide receiver?
He was a quarterback.
Quarterback, that's right. In the first Super Bowl or something, right?
Yeah, Super Bowl I and Super Bowl IV. The AFL.
Yeah, Lenny Dawson, that's right.
First one was against the Green Bay Packers, who they'll be taking on this
Star.
weekend.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
What was that? The frozen? What was they call that?
Ice
Ice Bowl. Yeah.
Yep.
Bart Starr at the 1 yard line over the middle
Well,
on like a
for
fourth.
me, it's Sean McDonough because I just think he's got a powerful voice and I enjoy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
Sean
a great call.
McDonough. I didn't look that
really,
up.
really enjoy. I mean, yes, his voice cracks quite like mine, but when it comes to his excitement level, given in the right environment, it's
Well, and also if you're a fan of baseball, one of the best of all time.
obviously Scully. I mean,
Yeah, Vin
like
Scully.
he is the best. There is.
Well, Chick Hearn was pretty good.
In my opinion, Vin is the best to ever be in this business.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Regardless of sport, the man, because he did something that was very unique for those that don't know. Nowadays, you don't see one-man broadcast crews.
Nope.
You will get 2, 3, maybe even 4 in terms of
baseball.
Of crews.
Oh man, I had to take a picture. I love it.
And
great memory.
That's going to be thrown incomplete in the middle of the field there.
And Vin had to navigate and tell a story, and he was the master at doing it on his own.
And the reason why that is because back in the day, and now this is a really funny story that I heard from Ross Porter, Vince Scully, and so they all used to work for the same broadcast company. And originally, most people don't know this, Ronald Reagan, our president, whose library is just up.
It's actually
just
lit
up
up
the hill.
right now.
You
you
can
can see it if the cameraman's there.
Yeah, well, hey, you know, visit the Ronald Reagan Library Monday through Friday. They have great
Half
tours.
off after 2 p.m.
Well, no, so they're in the same broadcast booth, and they used to do remote broadcasts, not inside of the stadium. And the reason why they would do that is because most of the stadiums were not outfitted to have broadcast gear or radio gear inside of them. So what they did is they would send, they would have like a live ticker that would feed into the broadcast station, and every single broadcaster for their region would then send out a broadcast for that region. So Ronald Reagan was working, and they had a broken ticker. The ticker stopped, and it was like an 0-2 count and 2 outs in the inning, and none of the broadcasters, basically what you had to do, because you don't have a live feed coming from the stadium, you just have a broken ticker, is come up with something to delay the time to make it seem like nothing's wrong, because their entire thing was that they were inside the stadium. They would pretend like they're inside the stadium.
That's pretty interesting. Troy run on a nice carry right there for another first down for the Raiders. Troy Smith, someone that had got, he actually started last year against the Ventura Pirates
And
when
a
they were
lot
on the
of
road.
that, the reason he started
But
was
he's
because of injuries.
right.
Myriad of injuries.
Right, but I mean, he did do as well as he could for being thrown into the fire. He was actually a red shirt, and then they threw him in there in the last couple of weeks. Now, Emery, I actually talked to a couple of my friends that play at these junior college levels for football teams. What is the rule with red shirting? You can play a game or two, and then you can declare, what's the latest you can do eligibility?
So you can only play 20% of the season.
Right.
So theoretically 2 games, and then you can declare as a redshirt.
It's a 10-game
I think that's how many you play. So
Yeah.
technically it doesn't count as a season at all.
It doesn't count as a season at all. However, you lose that eligibility going on to the 4-year level later on.
Oh,
because
so you no longer have that.
At the Division I level, you're allotted 2 years of no play. One would be a medical gray shirt, and the other one would be a red shirt.
That's right, medical gray shirt. Yeah.
And it's very difficult to get the medical gray shirt if you've already taken advantage of your red shirt. They are very, very specific.
Make sure that you're not cheating the system.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why when a lot of these kids redshirt at the junior college level, it gives them another year to develop and then be ready to go on to the 4-year level. But you don't want to burn it just immediately like that.
So you're basically saying, let's say I redshirt my freshman year, right? And then play my freshman, sophomore year at Moore Park, get a ride, let's say Oregon.
Yeah.
I only have junior and senior year left. I can't redshirt anymore, right?
You cannot redshirt.
The only way that I could catch a break is, let's say I get injured my first week
Yes.
of junior year. I could gray
Yeah.
shirt and then come back for my junior senior.
Absolutely.
Because I think, didn't Mayfield do something similar? He didn't gray shirt, but he did, because he had 5 years in college, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mayfield?
Well, he redshirted, but it was a medical redshirt.
Right, okay.
Where
Yeah.
did he start? Because I don't think
Texas
he started
Tech?
it. Thank you.
Did he start at Texas Tech?
He was,
Or similar
Texas.
for-
It was
Yeah.
Texas
Went to a
Tech
college.
behind
Yes, he
Patrick
did.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
And then what happened was he was like, I'm fed up with this. Patrick Mahomes is really, really good, and I'm never going to play here.
Went to
I mean,
Oklahoma.
to be honest, and then
Yeah.
went to Oklahoma, who needed a quarterback. And
But
went
didn't
to-
he have a transit? Didn't he go to like a JUCO at some point, or no?
I don't know.
No,
I know
don't
he
think
bounced
so.
around. I know Cam Newton did that. He started.
Did you
he
finish
played.
your story on Scully? I don't.
I
remember.
will finish it here
Troy
in a second.
Smith going down the middle. Nobody.
Incomplete pass.
Yeah.
So Vin Scully. So all three of them are in the booth, and they're going, "What do we do? The ticker is broken. It's not coming back." So Vin Scully says, "Oh, you know, the umpire and the head coach of the Dodgers at that time, which was." This is probably back in 1960. So
Alston? No,
yeah,
he was done.
might have been Alston. Might have been.
What was his name?
There's a couple different managers in that time, but
yeah, it was before Lasorda, so they were shuffling people.
right before Lasorda. And so, anyways,
Bresson, maybe?
you go, oh, they're arguing, and players were getting thrown out, and then no, they weren't actually getting thrown out. As play
Oh, you know
Troy
what?
Smith down the
Might
middle,
have been-
incomplete once
Was
again.
it Bert Schotten?
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably
because
Bert Schott.
Yeah.
So, and then Ross Porter says, well, I had to come up with my own version of that story because they can't talk to each other. They don't know what they're saying.
Right.
So remember, this is different regions of America are getting three different versions of this broadcast. So Vince Scully is saying that this is happening. And then so Ross Porter said, oh, the sprinklers broke and there's water all over the field and we're going to have to, take a delay here. Well, Vin, of all the broadcasters, didn't come up with either of those excuses.
Didn't
He
say a
said,
word?
No. He
Okay.
didn't just not say a word. He came up with a 17 pitch at bat that continued to have ball fouled off here, a ball thrown here. Pitcher steps off the mound and he's going to take his sweet time trying to get around, and another ball fouled back. So, anyways, it had reached national news level at that point. So the radio broadcast is going. The game is all summed up. Everything's off. They're all off the air, and they're all meeting for how'd your broadcast go? What happened during that break? And it would just have it that breaking news had happened. The longest pitch in Major League Baseball, or longest at bat in Major League Baseball history at that point was like 19 pitches had just occurred in the Dodger game, and they had to find a way to fix this giant mistake, which they had basically set Major League Baseball history to
Wow.
one news
Because
news
Vin
outlet.
had chosen to.
No, because Ronald Reagan had chosen
Oh, yeah.
to give a 17 pitch at bat
Yep.
to these guys, but.
And was this?
Wait,
this
so
was
Ronald
before
Reagan was a broadcaster?
Was,
Yep.
Wow.
Before an actor.
Was okay. So this was before even his political days.
Yeah, way before.
Wow.
When he was a young kid.
I do want to clear up something, though, before we continue. That is going to wrap up the game here as Ventura is going to continue the win streak to 12. They're now 31 and 23 all-time in the series as they lead between the rivalry between Moore Park going back to 1968. As Justin had talked about, the final score here being 55-20. Justin, final thoughts?
This was a complete and utter domination by the Pirates. They executed basically on all fronts. Their attack with the run and pass game was solid. They used both quarterbacks very effectively. Moore Park really didn't have the personnel to stop them today.
And Emery.
Yeah, outside of the first quarter and really tough play from both teams, ultimately you see a much bigger and more physical team out on the field with Ventura, and that's really hard to say coming from a Moore Park guy like myself. And you see Ventura holding up the Citrus Cup. Well, not quite yet, but they're holding. You see the coaches holding the Citrus Cup trophy down at the end, what would say south end of the end zone here, the south end zone. And it means a lot to both teams to play in this game, but unfortunately Moore Park just came up short because it's that's how the status of where they're at right now, and then they have a lot of room to make up in future years for Moore Park football.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, ultimately, Ventura, they've been the better team thus far going into the year. Now they're 6-1. Moore Park will fall to 1-6. But the coach, their adjustments are something that we should be noted. Now the score was just 20-7 going into the first half. Now 55-20, and of course Ventura put in a lot of backups, so that score could have gotten even more out of hand. But ultimately, yeah, Ventura just dominated on both sides of the ball, all three sides of the ball, to be honest, more consistently than Moore Park did. They wanted it more, and I mean, if you just look at their history in the last couple of years, they really have a great coaching staff here. So, fortunately, Moore Park is going to fall to 1-6, and like I said, Ventura's going to rise to 6-1. But don't go anywhere, as we are going to have a post-game show coming up in just a few minutes here. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. As far as Moore Park, they go on the road next week to play Long Beach City College. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and sign off here, but don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this.
Is everybody going to be pissed with our tangents?
I don't think they care. Man, I'm
Okay.
sure we have like 20 people watching right now. So
You're probably right.
this is probably way more interesting than what's going on in the football.
Are you doing post game with us, bud?
I can do post game with you guys.
Okay. Thank you for hanging with us tonight.
Yeah, I love it.
I wasn't sure if you were going to like stick it out 4 quarters or if it's 3.5. Or...
Yeah. Well, they just need to be operating.
Justin said I want to join the roast.
Yeah, Ryan did. Yeah, I was like, patch in, we'll call in. We got a caller.
Oh man, we can get him. I don't know if
Call
you
in
guys
on
listen to Colin Cowherd. We'll get the Colin Cowherd
Yeah.
satellite radio. Sadio.
Can you imagine with his coughing and his lungs?
God, it's cold.
I'm dying. They didn't play that well. That one play. Which one? I don't know. The one at the end.
We're just putting in this.
The one at the end. I'm
My
pretty sure.
headphones. Were you using my headphones? They were never turned off. Because the battery's gonna
Everybody's
die.
cold. I'm like wearing a polo right now. What's the deal, man?
Barry's always
I'm warm,
cold, dude.
man.
He's always
The jacket always keeps me. You know, when I was younger, he used to bitch at me for
When I
being
was a
cold.
younger man.
I wore shorts to games like this.
By the way, are we still hot? I'm like yapping.
Now I need a blanket
Well, I hope we're
everywhere
not.
I go.
I think it low-key is.
Are we?
No, they can turn it down
They
on
cut
their
the
end.
feed.
Yeah, they can turn it down on their end.
We gotta get
Turn it
over
down
there.
on our end.
Yeah, you got a point.
I mean, for the 2 people who are going to be watching while we do our post game show.
It's just more content.
What's going on, guys? Yeah, we're gonna do it. Let's get after it. Neato. How'd the broadcast go? Good? Any rowdy people in the...
Emery, you doing with this? Huh? Are you doing it with us?
Yeah, I'm doing it with you.
You want to grab your headset?
Did you already have a graphic made up? No, not yet. It's okay, you can leave me off the graphic. No, we have one built for it. It's just we need it. Switching the look, you guys catching on pretty good. Yeah, nice. Cool. But did you get the rhythm I was talking about?
Yeah, we're still working.
Player numbers not that hard. I didn't mean to say not that hard. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, if the camera operators know what they're pointing at, generally it should be easier. But numbers are more specific when you have like a very clear view.
Do you have your own camera?
One thing I learned later on, and this is, I took Oh no, absolutely, and there's times for that.
What did they say the setup was? Where do they want us?
You're gonna be in the middle.
Shit, it's like colder over here. Dude, I'm freezing. Dude, you grab your mic? Okay, you got it. Good.
Everybody's just like freezing right now. I don't understand.
I know.
And now I realize that when you're doing wheels,
Absolutely. Best thing is if you get your own headset.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Stewart post-game show presented by Simi Valley Auto Center. My name is Nick Federico, your play-by-play commentator for tonight's game. Alongside me, Emery Johnson, color commentator, and Justin Borses, other color commentator. Now, go ahead. I'll start with you first, Emery. What was your thoughts on tonight's game? I know Moore Park came into this game, already coming in at 1-5, not really having too much chemistry with the offense or the defense. Ventura coming in scorching hot, and the outcome was as predicted. So, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, outside of the one loss that they did have to Saddleback College,
Right.
Ventura has been playing very well this season. They haven't played against College of the Canyons, who Moore Park just played for the first game of the season.
Right.
But I was expecting Ventura to play very well. However, Moore Park just recently played against College of the Canyons, who is supposed to be listed as one of the best teams in the state, if not the best team in the state coming into the season. But they as well have also lost to Saddleback. And Moore Park played them hard in the very first half, and I was expecting, possibly a pretty good competition here. And we were not disappointed in that first quarter and second quarter. Even we saw a pretty good football game going on, so I was happy to see that. But ultimately, Ventura College, prevails, doing what they do best, which is dominating on defense and controlling the offensive line and allowing their quarterback to have time to throw the football. So that was primarily the main storyline of the football game from my perspective.
Right. I mean, yeah, Ventura did do just that. As they dominated not only the first half but the entire game, putting up 55 points against Moore Park College. Now, Justin, for you, what are some thoughts on how Moore Park overall played? I mean, remember they came out in the first quarter very strong. In fact, they had the lead at one point when they were up 7-3 in the first quarter. So what happened? How did their demise ultimately occur?
They don't, in my opinion, make a lot of second half adjustments.
Right.
Scheme and the offensive plays don't work because you haven't adjusted to what the defense is telling you, so you're telegraphing it for them. And I think that's what we saw today, and really that's a storyline for the entire season. That's what I've noticed with regards to this team. They play really, really hard for 2.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden things kind of start to fall apart. And I don't exactly know what the identity is for this offense moving forward, because we talked about it on the broadcast. It was sort of like a mixture of plays that had no sense of direction and no sense of purpose that were kind of thrown in there at the last minute because they did not exactly know what they wanted to do. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work moving forward.
Right. And that's a great point. As you had talked about, yes, so there's been – there really has been no identity for the the Raiders offense, and they really have had a struggle. And as you talked about, they are a great 2.5 quarter team, but that's not going to win you the game, especially if those 2.5 quarters are in the first half. They're not a team that starts slow and kicks it on, right? They're a team that starts fast and loses it. And as you talked about, they get in their own head. They start to lose some of these games. They're down by 2 or 3 scores, as you said, and then they just ultimately fail in the long run. So. Right, exactly. That's a great point. Now, just final thoughts, Emery. There's only a couple games left in the season, 3 to be exact. Moore Park's got 1 road game at Long Beach. Then the next 2, last 2 games of the season are going to be at home. One against Bakersfield, and one against exactly.
Long Beach has always been very good at football.
Right.
That's going to be a very difficult game going forward. Now, Bakersfield. They played pretty tough against Ventura College, but that's always been a game that Moore Park has usually played really hard.
Right.
So if they're playing it again at home, and then ELAC, they just got into this division.
Right.
So those are 2 games where you could possibly improve your record a little bit more and just get some confidence to go into the end of the season. Obviously, at this point, we're not looking at a bowl season.
Right.
And that's
it's actually out of question.
Really
at this point.
difficult to admit that. However, that's just the case. It's been a while, and in fact, the last season that I was on a broadcast here was actually when that happened. So just. It's all about taking positives and getting these guys the opportunity to get onto that next level and at this point in the season. And those are 2 games where you have that chance, especially as a football organization, to give those players the best opportunity to make those highlight tapes.
Right. That's a great point. And Justin, final thoughts for you.
Well, that's basically it. You have 2 opposite teams going in 2 opposite directions.
That's a great point. And with that, that's going to go ahead and wrap up our post-game show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Once again, thank you for the production group and everything you do. Stay tuned. We will be on the road with the delayed broadcast when we go to Long Beach.